Has repulsed your order, has left the building. Dadgummit.
Boo.
I have screwed up royally.
How'd you screw up?
When Silverbolt went up for pre-sale originally,
Yeah.
I ordered 2 in case Joey didn't get one.
Yeah.
Well, then we saw that Amazon was shipping them next week.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure my Amazon order came in, not a pillow. And
I thought that was Walmart that sent you a pillow.
that Walmart was, but that's my fear from now on. So I wanted to make sure it came in before I canceled my Hasbro. And Hasbro immediately shipped it. Like right as soon as my order came in, they shipped theirs. So I had no time to cancel it.
Well, I guess you've got one that you can just give away now.
I've got 3 now.
So you got one for jet mode, one for robot mode, and one for combiner mode.
That's true. If only it wasn't $100 a piece.
Well, you know what? I don't want to tell you about poor life decisions. Let me check and see how you're coming in. Say something.
Something.
Let me check and see how you're coming in.
Something.
Yeah.
Something.
Let me check and see how you're coming in.
Something.
It's funny.
Something.
The one that I do on YouTube here, the stream feed does feedback. I can hear myself like on a loop. The stream feed does feedback. But it sounds like everything's coming through audio-wise this time, so we're good in that respect.
I am having a hard time trying to download some pictures for tonight. And they're not wanting to download. Come
on. Remember, you're in charge tonight.
Yes, I know.
Regrets, we have a few. So what made you decide to change from Walking Tall to Black Cobra II?
I can't tell you yet. I can't tell you till the show starts.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. So, do you have any news?
What do you mean?
Oh, well, in our, our never used show notes here, there's a section for news and what did we buy?
The only thing I got was Silverbolt. Now I got 2 more coming in. So.
Yeah.
What? Come on.
I've already shown off what I've bought twice.
Although
the first time I showed it off, we didn't get any audio recorded. So.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, I must have hit this thing like 6 times. Okay.
What are you doing, dude?
Trying to download some pictures for the show.
If I make you... Oh, hang on a second.
Yes.
My default microphone changed.
Uh-oh. You sound the same to me.
Why is it doing that? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. You sound exactly the same.
Huh. That's weird. And I leaned over here to get this box. I heard a little bit of static. So... Make sure this
apparently I tried
to
download
through
I tried to download this picture like 12 times and my computer was preventing it until I told them it was okay. So now I've got 12 of them there.
I'm gonna mute this headset and tell me if you can still hear me.
Okay, yeah, keep talking though. I hear nothing.
Okay, very good. Just want to make sure. So, all right.
Save as.
Yeah, I need to get me one of those mics that is like a not a headset mic. My youngest one's got one, and it wasn't too terribly expensive. I'd rather have that than be talking through this headset.
Okay. When the time comes, how do I share pictures?
So, if you go to Zoom, down at the bottom, there is a share button with an
I
arrow
see
that
it.
points up. If you select that, it's going to give you an option there. It says one participant can share at a time. I'll have to make you host. So first off, I have
Okay.
to make you host.
Let me get out of that then.
Well, hang on. Stand by. So, chat pin, make host. Would you get out of there? Just because it's a box doesn't mean you need to be in it. So you are, I think you're a host. Did I make you a host? Make host. Well,
I know we covered that at one point.
yeah, we did, and I'm selecting it, and it's not making you host. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm a
There's
host.
a yes dialogue I was missing because the
You are
cat
now
distracted
host.
me.
You
You are
are
now
host now.
host. So if you go down to share
Yes.
and you select that, it's going to give you options. You pick what you want to share.
Entire screen. Oh, okay. So I can. Okay. So let me practice this with something that's not
All
important.
right, go for it, man. Ain't nobody watching anyway.
Yeah. How do I minimize my? How do I minimize my
Now
screen?
don't be showing off your porn.
I was gonna
We're
try to
only
find
3
some
episodes
porn.
in. We got to get a lot more episodes in before we have that moment.
Let me see here.
Yeah, that was a topic of conversation in the last RFC I listened to.
Well, it was the incident.
It was the incident. Yep.
What is Fat
What you
Man
do with your free
PSA?
time is your business. Just don't make it our business. I wish they would make this packaging where you didn't have to cut it open.
What packaging?
Oh, yeah, I guess I have my... this type of packaging.
Hang on, I'm not where I can see you. Hang on.
Oh, this type of packaging.
Oh.
I wish that they had it where you could actually take this stuff out. What?
Oh God, this is 3 years ago. Hang on. How do I? Okay.
Are we learning on the job here?
I just somehow swapped pictures, and I don't have a clue how I did it.
You swap pictures? What?
I went from one picture to another picture without, and I have no clue how I did that. Okay. So I minimize that. Okay, show me your packaging.
Oh. This type of packaging.
Why don't they make it where it opens and reseals? Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Okay, now if I share, okay, I can share this. Okay. Can you see that?
Can I see it?
I got to hit share. Hang on.
You got to hit share. Yeah. Kneel before Sean is sharing a screen at Dawn of the Day by Sean the Monk, 4/10/22. Today's memorial service for Kevin Sheets Dorsey. Too funny.
That's the main joke on that was number one. I was sending him that constant meme of the guys, the monks going across the that music.
I remember it.
And of course there's the wah wah bird right there. But the main joke was Boomer finally takes off his hat because you never see him without a hat.
Nope.
And he's got that rainbow hair.
Sure he does.
So that was the joke. You should be here somewhere. I'm here in my Huddle House outfit.
Huh? Yeah, I'm in the front with my cowboy hat.
I see. Okay, you're holding it down.
I'm in panel number 2, dude.
And you got the Texas tie. I gave you the Texas tie.
The Texas tie. That's right. The bowler tie.
That's right.
My wife's...
I'm assuming that's Joey standing in front of you.
It looks like Joey. Whoever it is, they look youthful.
That's Joey. Yeah.
Oh.
So.
So my wife's grandfather, he wasn't from Texas, but he did wear bowler ties like that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, your dinosaur's in the background.
Of course. Rexy goes wherever I go.
He's almost as tall as Rob Stringer.
Almost. Well, Rob Zilla over there.
Yeah. And you see, and Frank's got 2 women in bikinis.
Of course.
Of course, yes. Yes.
Poor Frank.
I really need to redraw this stuff. I need to go back to this. Okay, how do I unshare my screen?
You stop sharing. You select stop share.
And
You know I
did I
can't see
stop?
what you see on your end.
Did I stop?
Sure, sounds good.
Did I stop? Can you see me?
I still see your share, dude.
Okay, hang on.
But if you got to make sure you don't end the stream, whatever it is you're clicking there. So I can't see what you're clicking. I'm using the theater of the mind.
Is that better?
You're still sharing, bro.
Oh, okay, I see it now. It's right there. Stop share.
There you go. You did it.
Okay. Okay, let me get rid of that. And
Can't
I can
teach
open
old
up the
dogs new
others.
tricks.
And okay, how do I get rid of that? And then I go this one. And I can reduce that down. And I'll do that one. And I will reduce it down. Or actually, I wonder if they're both on my share now. Yes, they are. Okay. And then we'll do that. I got 3 pictures. But they're I gotta
You got
wait
3
on them.
pictures you're going to show?
Yes. That's to do with Black Cobra 2.
Black Cobra.
Blacker and more Cobra-ish.
That that movie had to be a ripoff of Cobra. At least the name was. Not that Cobra.
That would have been funny if what's his name? Lotta was in it.
Oh, Chris Latta.
Cobra.
So you see what I was saying about you eventually did get your Spider-Man scaling
in the elevator. But I love it. They like get out of the car and they run up the building like they're being stealthy, and then they put their harnesses on.
Gotta save your content,
outside the
man.
building.
Save your content. Don't give it away.
But
I find it weird that Rom has a comic book. I mean, it's not like Rom went around reading his own comic.
He came with a comic book?
Yeah, there's a little bitty.
Oh God.
Yeah, but it doesn't open or anything. It's just
I never knew he was a toy. I thought he was a I thought he was a Marvel character.
No, he was originally a toy, like a huge late 70s, early 80s electronic toy.
I mean, he's in Marvel Universe and everything.
Well, he should be. I mean, he was.
Well, they Transformers are not.
Well, they should be too. And quite honestly, if Hasbro keeps going down the route that it's going to wind up being owned by Disney too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Disney's is kind of going downhill too.
Well, that's how they maintain their supremacy, is by buying other people's ideas. That's how Microsoft did it for the longest time. Well, I mean, you can't make that argument.
I make my screen bigger. Why am I not?
In a lot of instances, what happens is that they bring in creative teams that do a really good job, and then eventually middle management thinks that they can make movies better than the movie makers, or they want to tie their wagon to a successful vehicle, and then they wind up running it into the ground. That's why middle management in general should just be eliminated from the face of the earth.
Yeah, well.
Are you middle management, Sean?
I am not. Well, no.
You're a foreman, aren't you?
I'm a project manager.
Oh, even worse.
If I'm not there, the boss has to do everything. So I'm kind of like the field superintendent would be more like middle management.
Yeah.
But then I don't have
project
to go to the field,
management from your standpoint is what, procurement and scheduling and things like that?
I bid, I buy, I schedule.
That would be procurement, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I hire.
Yep, that would be procurement too.
Yeah.
As Negan, if you've watched The Walking Dead, Negan says people are a resource.
Especially when you put their heads in fish tanks.
Uh-huh.
All right,
I thought that was the governor that did that.
It was. Negan beat the heck out of Glenn with a baseball bat.
That's right. You ever see the Saturday Night Live skit with
the Chappelle?
Chappelle.
Yeah.
Yep. Basehead got it, but you can't kill the basehead.
Yeah. Yeah, he just keeps rolling around.
I think that character.
I love they put the pimps in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All of his
Charlie
Chappelle
Murphy.
Show characters.
Oh yeah. They actually got the actors to come on.
Got what now?
They actually got the actors to come on.
What actors are you talking about?
From Chappelle, the two time traveling pimps, or I don't know,
Oh,
there's only
yeah?
one skit when they're time traveling. But Charlie Murphy and the other guy,
Uh-huh.
the guy with the Jerry curl.
Rick. What was it?
He's the one that actually said, "I'm rich, bitch."
He's also the one that says cocaine is a powerful.
No, that was actually Rick James. That was actually Rick James.
I was gonna say that was Rick James.
But the guy who when they got the three pimps, you got Chappelle, you got Charlie Murphy, and you got the other guy. The other guy's got the Jerry curl, and he's always spraying it.
Oh,
and he's usually bald, huh?
Soul Glow. You got your soul glow.
That same thing.
Come on, man.
That was
he's
from,
the one. He's the one when they're reparations.
Right?
He buys the cool, the KOOL, not McCool, but the cool cigarette truck. They're like, they're spending their reparation money, and he's the one who yells when he buys it, and he drives by and he goes, "I'm rich, bitch," and and that became their tagline on every show after that. At the end, yeah.
Yep.
Instead of "sit Ubu sit," it was "I'm rich, bitch."
Hey, Joey.
Yeah, man.
Fire up one of the streams and make sure that you can hear us.
Oh.
I mean, all right.
Y'all should have links to those. If not, I'll send them to you. I'm gonna step over here for a second and grab me some little.
Are you wearing pants?
Nope. Yeah, I'm wearing pants.
Short pants.
Well, yeah, I always wear short pants.
Nobody's gonna carry
Bob
the way Bob
wears shorts. All right.
If you dare wear shorts, Bob for shorts.
Oh.
Grumpy Old Fans Podcast, Bigfoot and Wild Boy.
Bigfoot and Wild Boy.
And it says it's live.
Live.
And it is live. It's still labeled as
first live local.
And it's still labeled as Bigfoot and Wild Boy.
Bigfoot and Wild Boy.
So it is live and you can hear it.
All right, cool.
But like I said, it's labeled as Bigfoot and Wild Boy.
Oh, well, let me look at that. I bet I could. Well, it remembers whatever the last one was. So you're looking at YouTube, I assume?
Yes.
Stand by. We're going to put in here, Black Cobra II?
Black Cobra II. Let me give you a picture for it.
See, three old guys talk about the classic. What are we going to say in our description?
The classic.
So the original one had Bigfoot and Wild Boy in there. So three old guys talk about what, Sean? What are we talking about?
The greatest movie ever made.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Let's not lie about it. I was for the life
of Black Hole was the greatest movie ever made.
Okay,
Sean
the second greatest movie with black in the title.
I can't figure out. I could never figure out what the point of this movie was, and I watched it from beginning to end. And I'm like, why? Okay, why is he in the Philippines?
All right.
What are they going? They're going after microfilm, which of course, back then everybody's going after microfilm.
Right. You know you are giving away the content for free.
Was it microfilm? I missed that part entirely.
Oh,
I didn't know.
You mean we're charging for part of this?
So to quote the great Harlan Ellis, I don't take a piss without getting paid. It's one of my favorite videos of all time. He talks about how people will do freelance work for free for exposure. And then he calls them assholes because basically they're ruining it for professionals. If you're going to give your work away, it's an exposure. What are you talking about? And he talks about how like studios will ask him to do work, and he's had a career at that point of like, I don't know, almost 50 years. And they said, well, for exposure. Like, are you kidding me? I ain't taking a piss without getting paid. If you want,
All right, how do we start the
work,
show?
you got to pay
Or
me
are
for
we
it.
started?
We're streaming live. So
Oh, we're streaming live.
Magic. Yeah, we're already streaming live.
Introduce us, Sean.
So welcome to our If Only There Existed fan to the Grumpy Old Fans podcast. Today's movie
Yay!
is the 1979/80 classic Black Cobra II,
That was not that
number
old,
2 in a
dude.
4-issue movie series that I'd never heard of.
It wasn't that old. It was from 1989.
It was 1989. Yeah.
89? I thought it was 79.
No, it was 89, dude.
89.
If it was
Okay.
79, it would have qualified as a blaxploitation film. This
Yes.
thing was just an exploitation film.
It's just
Stars the great Fred Williamson, who younger viewers may know from Dusk Till Dawn. He's the one black guy in the bar
Uh-huh.
who is pretty cool until he gets bit, and then his head gets huge and his jaw gets huge.
Did he turn into a vampire?
He turns into a vampire. Yeah, he gets turned pretty easy.
Blackula.
I think Sex Pistol is the one who changes him, bites him. Anyway,
That's a great name.
This movie is about
By
a
the
cop
way,
named.
kids, if you're under the age of 17, you probably should not watch Till Dusk Till Dawn without permission from your parents. The Cheech Marin
It's a
scene
Clooney
at the
movie.
beginning,
Come
Probably
on.
will not get.
where he's trying to call people into the
Yes,
brothel
yes,
in and of
yes,
itself.
yes.
Get you an
Cheech
R
Marin, yes.
rating.
Yeah, that scene alone is the R rating. My favorite part is Salma Hayek though when she's dancing.
Well, I mean, come on.
Yes.
Did you have late stage puberty there, Sean?
I did have late stage puberty. I had flashbacks. Had to excuse myself for a few minutes.
I think there was a lot of
Just a
people
few
that
minutes.
excused
I'm just going to
themselves.
take these tissues with me. Excuse me, and this lotion.
I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Took
that long.
But back to our movie of the week,
Yeah,
Black
sorry.
Cobra II, starring the great Fred Williamson. It's basically about a cop named Bob Malone, no relation to Sam.
Or Bob.
Bob is your typical 80s hard-nosed cop who plays by his own rules and doesn't give a damn what the man says.
That's right.
And after he starts off with a stakeout inside a parking garage, we see a blind man walking through with just a regular cane, not a blind man's cane.
No, not at all.
And my first thought is, why is a blind man in a parking garage? Surely he doesn't have a car.
No.
But he ends up being
He
a
was
drug dealer,
lost.
and
He's blind.
they stop right in front of Bob Malone's car, and a motorcycle pulls up, and the motorcycle guy gives him drugs. Now, no money is exchanged, so technically it's
Even
not
his
a crime at this
pharmacist.
point.
Yeah, he could have just been this
Pharmacist.
pharmacist.
Yeah.
He was
Bob Malone
lost. He
hits
was
his
going to the
headlights.
pharmacy. He calls up his pharmacist. Hey, yo, dude, I'm lost. Can you come find me? And he's like, man, I mean, I know you got just a flip phone.
They didn't have
Actually,
phones
well, he
back
had a
then.
flip phone. He had one of those
They didn't
brick
have
phones.
Those big
Those
Zach
big
Morris
brick
phones.
you
Yeah.
know. So,
But-
yeah, he came. He was doing him a solid. He showed up, help the dude out, and then winds up getting chased by a rogue cop.
Well, Bob hits
Rogue.
his headlights, and they just freeze and go, "What's going on?" At this point, you realize he's not blind because he saw the headlights come on.
Yeah.
Clue.
And
There was a
Bob's-
lot of blind acting going on
Bob's
before that.
Bob's idiot
Like,
white
too
partner
much.
jumps out and goes, "Police!" At which point, the blind man starts running without his cane,
Well, he
and-
threw his cane first. Yes.
and six
And
other
he didn't throw
cops
it
come
at
out of
anybody,
nowhere.
He just threw it.
6 other cops come out of nowhere, and they all tackle the blind guy. Nobody thinks to stop the guy on the motorcycle.
All for this very, very small drug transaction,
Yes,
which there was not even a transaction. It was he gave the guy an extremely small amount of whatever it was.
exactly.
in a
There was
hat.
no transaction.
No,
Okay, so
No.
so the guy on the motorcycle takes off. Bob goes, "Damn it!" Jumps in his car and chases him down. I forget what happens at some point. He gets off the motorcycle. He hits a car or something, and he's running. And Bob is chasing him, and he gets a Charlie horse and reaches
Oh.
down and grabs his thigh.
hey, can I just say that was the slowest run foot chase I've ever seen?
Fred
It's
Willis was
almost-
a retired football player. He retired in 1974. For this point, he was out of football for 15 years.
I would mention
Just-
too that in their vehicle chase, they drive through a construction site that is occurring at night
It is Chicago. They got to
with
work
no lights
24/7.
on.
Well, you know,
No.
they are also blind, so they don't
Well,
need
there
lights.
you go. It's just a bunch of Morlocks all sort of.
They're working
the
with
Morlocks. They eat people and building stuff.
Oh
They're more
man.
like Fraggle Rock guys.
Yeah.
It's-
Oh, man.
people keep eating their girders. But the guy is running from Bob, and out of nowhere, a car comes, and he carefully goes across, gets hit by the car carefully,
Carefully.
rolls across the engine of the car. I mean, it was very choreographed. The woman gets out to check on him, and the motorcycle guy's still wearing his helmet at this point.
Oh
and,
yes.
And she gets out to check on him, and he grabs her and puts a gun against her, and he's backing up. And
And he's mumbling.
Bob slowly reaches behind
demands.
his belt and pulls out his revolver.
Yeah,
his
and then
snub-nosed revolver.
he's got stuck in his belt instead of an
Yes.
actual holster.
Yes, which he's
Yeah.
been running down this ramp and everything, and the gun's still there. And
As one does.
and Bob doesn't aim. He just kind of holds it.
Yep. He doesn't
And
even
shoots
hold
the guy.
it like
No, he just
nope.
he
Shoots
doesn't
from
even
the hip.
extend his arm out. He just kind of casually holds his arm. Doesn't hold it up where you can see sight with his eyes.
Nope.
It's just a mid chest holding of the pistol, and shoots the guy right through the helmet. And
Right in the
of course, blood splatters out of the helmet all over her face.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then his sergeant chews him out for not playing by the rules and doing his own thing.
Yeah.
And he does I'm sorry, I will never do it again. Sarcastic guys. Your file's full of I'm sorry's and I'll never do it again. So to teach him a lesson, they're going to send him to Manila in the Philippines to learn Interpol methods.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a real punishment getting sent
I
to the
don't understand
Philippines.
that.
I was just
So-
disappointed that he didn't team up with Wang Wang.
I don't think Wang Wang was even alive.
I ain't going
was-
no Philippines.
He was
Oh, I
alive
guess he
for
was.
3
He was
more
the midget
years
guy,
after
wasn't
that.
he?
Him and Bob could have gotten in a foot race at that point because Wang Wang had a couple of years left in him.
While he's at the airport in Manila getting his luggage, he gets pickpocketed by the colonel, who's a well-known pickpocket.
Well, I see there, boy. I'm gonna steal this here wallet.
And while trying to chase him down, he gets arrested. And then he gets brought to the Interpol office where they take his gun and they keep it. So they're going to investigate his, don't know what he's supposed to be there for, but they decide to investigate his missing wallet instead.
Yep.
So he's looking through the book of known perps, which I don't know. I didn't know Interpol had a book of known perps for the local
For
Manila
pickpocketing?
office.
Yeah.
And
Don't they
the
typically
Interpol
deal with
agent-
international terrorists?
And the Interpol agent is the 70s Spider-Man from the
Mhm.
Spider-Man TV show. And I can't remember, his name's Harmon. I can't remember his full
No,
name.
Hammond.
Hammond. Okay. Hammond, Harmon, whatever.
So
Yeah.
so the guy that he was
Nicholas
with the whole
Hammond.
time, he was buddy copping with, that was
That was
Spider-Man
Peter
in the
Parker
70s.
in the 70s. Spider-Man. That's Nicholas Hammond.
gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
And
all right.
his name on this movie is, I think it's supposed to be McCole, but half the time they call him McCool.
McCool.
And they go back and forth, McCole, McCool,
McCool. Yeah.
McHale. I don't know. It's I don't think they had a script to go by.
Who was he in the Navy?
Yeah, yeah, he had his own navy.
Yeah.
And McCool knows when he picks the guy out of the perp book, McCool knows immediately who it is.
Mhm.
And they
Oh,
go to
yeah,
the
that
guy's house,
pickpocket.
and he's dead. And the cleaning lady outside goes, "I knew he would turn up no good." uh, so they find a matchbook with Tropicana on it, and that's where his daughter works.
I think it was Rapacana. Actually.
Rapacana?
I don't think it
I
had
think
a
the
T
tree.
in it.
The
Well,
tree. There was like a palm
the-
tree. I think it was supposed to be a T.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that was the
I
T.
gotcha.
So,
Yeah, I had to back it
so-
up a second or two to get that too.
Ropacan.
Yeah,
At
It's
the
like the knockoff Tropicana. It's a knockoff
Tropicana.
Tropicana for a knockoff Cobra film.
there you go. Well,
So,
knockoff Cobra / Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah,
so
kinda. Yeah.
the colonel's hot blonde daughter is very sad that her dad's dead, and they decide to go to McCool's house to have dinner with his family, where McCool's son, little Peter Parker Jr., beats him in a car race on his little slot track cars.
Yes,
which
and
were
that
not slot
lasted
cars.
for I want to say almost a minute.
Yeah,
The slot car
several
race.
shots of it. Several
Yes.
shots of it. And hang on, let me. I have a.
Okay, that kid's dubbed in voice freaked me out.
I
Yes.
know,
Now
right?
they did a woman. There he is getting. I'm sharing it right now.
Yeah,
That
there
is
you go.
that is Malone being beaten by Peter Parker McCool Jr. And do we have a passcode for our Zoom?
For our Zoom? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Is it really?
Did you
No.
just give it out for the whole world?
No,
No.
I got somebody I'm bringing in as a guest.
Oh.
Okay.
I happen to know the star of this movie.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, shocking.
And he needs a passcode to get in. If you could text it to me, I will pass it to him.
Huh. Well, I don't recall setting up a passcode. I think I just have a link. Let me get the link.
Send me the link and I'll send it to him.
All right.
I sent him a link.
So the link itself can be found in the.
That's where I got it from. But
Here,
if you would text it to me, I can
yeah,
just forward
I'll
it
just
to
put
him.
it. I'll just put it right there in the chat. And you need to
I
forward
can't.
to
I
somebody.
can't copy from the chat. I got to forward it.
Oh, okay.
All right, I got you.
You got him. You gonna text him?
I got it. Yep.
All right.
Okay. And okay. And how do I just copy?
It should just be a copy
Should
paste.
be able to forward it.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah, you just hold
Yes,
down
thank you.
on the message, and you should be able to get an.
They got to
option to forward.
reply, copy, pin, more.
Try more, and then see if there's a forward.
It's not letting me. No more. Cancel. More is just letting me dot stuff. I'm going to hit copy,
Yes.
and then I'm going to go to the special guest star and hopefully paste.
Special guest star.
All right. This is the star of the movie. He happens to be a good friend of mine. I've known him for a few years. That was my phone. He should be joining us shortly if the link worked. So anyway,
Okay.
they have dinner with the family. The kid's voice is dubbed horribly by an older woman.
Uh-huh. It's a Bart
I
Simpson
did stop the
scenario.
show, didn't I?
The Children of the Corn.
And when Malone leaves to go back to his hotel,
Mhm.
he decides instead to go visit the hot blonde daughter of the colonel.
Because
and
why not?
They go. Oh, here we go. Hang on. He is connecting to audio, it says. And I'm going to share my next thing here.
Different. Yay tonight.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
If you look here at the credits, the second name down is Jonathan Sorensen. He is joining us right now. He apparently does not have a picture, though.
Hold on. I haven't opened this app in like 2 years, so
Okay.
I gotta like relearn. It's all different now.
And so you know who he is. Here is his character in the movie. Oh, well, screen sharing is stopped. Okay. Share one is closed. Okay. Can you still see me and hear me?
I can see.
Okay.
I can hear you. Can you see me yet?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
We see your name.
Jonathan is the son of the office manager at work, Kathy.
Oh, really?
What?
And he worked for us.
Yeah, I did.
So that's
why
why
you
we
picked
watched that
this.
movie.
This is why I want everybody to watch
Okay.
the movie.
You told me when you watch it, you'll see why. And I kept And I'm like, I'm not seeing why, Sean. I'm not seeing why at all.
Well, now you see why.
Now I see why. Yeah.
But Jonathan, you called in right at the best time. We were just talking about him going to your house to play slot cars.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So where
That
did
was
y'all film that scene? Do you remember?
They were in the Philippines.
I mean, it was definitely in the Philippines.
Oh, y'all went to
but
the Philippines?
beyond that,
That's cool.
I have no. Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I just got out of a thing, and there's people all around, and I still can't figure out how to share my picture. I'm really sorry about that, guys. I look a lot different than I did.
Actually, the face is very similar. I might have a picture somewhere, but
So how old were you right there?
Yeah, how old were you? You're muted.
I believe.
You're on mute.
Hold on. Am I good now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can't. I'm not gonna figure it out. So I was, I believe either 4 or 5. I believe 5 years old when I was in that movie.
So you were born around 85?
I was born in 84.
84. Okay.
Yeah.
And were you selected because you were the only English-speaking child in the Philippines that was American-looking?
Well, so from what I understand, we actually got an agent for me because I don't know, I was white and blonde, and I guess that was kind of a hot commodity around there. So it wasn't like that big of a deal to get like an agent and get me into like little gigs. This actually wasn't the only movie I was in at that time. I don't even remember the name of the other one.
Narco Dollar, which is the next movie we're watching, and I host.
You know, my next question is going to be, have you ever met
funny.
Wang Wang? Would you have remembered?
No, I wouldn't remember. Sorry.
He would have been about the same height as you back then.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, I was like in like an Adidas spread in a magazine and a Tang commercial, and so that was just kind of my life as like a celebrity in the Philippines.
5-year-old celebrity.
Yeah.
That's fun.
How much were you paid?
Oh goodness! Like I know I was paid enough that I bought like the original NES system with my own money.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to keep the car track?
Yeah, I did actually. Managed to hold on to it for like maybe another year or two before my brother and I just destroyed it.
Oh, that could be a movie prop. You could make that thing be worth millions.
Well, it got played with properly then.
I suspect that there might be like pieces of it still around in my parents' attic.
Here's the big question I have.
Okay.
When Peter Parker slapped you on the butt, were you sexually harassed?
Well, you know, it was a different time back then. We just kind of went with the flow.
I was gonna say, in 1989, I don't think you're allowed to be sexually harassed back then. People just tell you to shut up, kid.
Were you Corey hanged?
This is just what the industry was like back then. You just took it.
Back then,
Poor choice of words.
Somebody has been watching the news about Sean Diddy.
I heard about the baby oil.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I haven't, but I don't doubt it.
Did you know any of those actors who they were when you were in this?
I did know that the guy who played my father played the live action Spider-Man, and I wasn't completely unaware of the show. In fact, I think like I watched it like in preparation. Not like, I mean, just like, so my mom was just like, hey, your Spider-Man's gonna be your dad, and I was like, that's cool. And then like we saw the show came on, and I was like, okay, cool, that guy.
Yeah, I mean, how else are you gonna prep a 4-year-old?
Yeah. So, are you officially in the MCU now?
Yeah, you should be.
I suppose if they do something like what they did with that Flash movie, where like every single Superman ever even thought of was in it, then technically, yeah, in some kind of a Spider-Verse sort of thing, perhaps I could be his son.
Has Sony not contacted you for the next Spider-Verse movie?
Not yet. But I move around a lot these days, so it could be they're just having trouble tracking me down.
It's just a matter of time.
Are you in Ohio or Pennsylvania?
I'm in Ohio.
Ohio. WKRP land? He doesn't know what that is. He's too
Yeah,
young for that.
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
Sorry.
man,
It's a show in
WKRP
the 70s.
Cincinnati. That was a
Yep.
great show.
It was a show about a radio station.
Yes.
In Cincinnati.
Dr. Johnny Fever and Les Nessman with the news.
It's the one with the turkeys. They play the turkeys from the helicopter at Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And they didn't know the turkeys could fly. But
God is my witness. I
So
did not
long
know
ago.
turkeys could not fly.
that's such a good show.
Oh, man.
But do you remember anything about making that movie? There he
you
is.
are.
Hey.
I did it.
Yay.
Okay. Yeah.
See, you still got that Hollywood look. You've got a haircut.
Oh yeah. Well, I do it once a year.
And shaved.
And yeah, I do that. I mean, I try to stay seasonally appropriate.
Oh.
And it is surprisingly warm up here. Not quite Alabama warm, but
No.
so yes, I do remember like little bits and pieces, like the race car scene. I do remember that. I don't remember like the airport scene. I think there's just like 2 scenes, right?
That's it.
Yeah. So
They didn't bring you in for the hostage situation?
no, not for that one.
See what amped up the tension there.
I know that they were like, I couldn't really like read emotions or anything back then, but I know that I had to do my lines over and over and over again. So I'm assuming that's they dubbed me because like one thing they could have done to prep a 4-year-old would like maybe some kind of vocal training of any sort whatsoever. But
I don't think it was in the budget.
Yeah, probably not. So yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of a weird kid. I'm a weird adult too. Like it just kind of always been that way. And so I don't know what I was doing. Probably making stupid voices or just being completely emotionless. Definitely not getting into the vibe of, the scene and finding like my motivation or anything like that. So I think it was probably like 3 or 4 years later. We were showing the movie to like some of my extended family, and that's when I learned that my voice was dubbed.
Any idea who did your voice?
Some woman is all I know.
I'm thinking it was the mother, the woman who played the mother.
Oh, could be. Yeah.
I don't know. It sounded like that her voice was dubbed too.
Well,
Oh yeah, maybe it's just the same dubber did both of us.
I don't know, but there's no way that your voice was so bad that they had to dub it. There's no. I mean, what they did, what they did what they did over your voice is worse. It has to be than whatever it is that you did. Whatever it is that you actually did was better. I haven't heard it. Was better than what the end product was.
The other possibility was that I tend to be very bashful, and I probably was like inaudible.
Yeah.
Is also a possibility.
See the boom mic coming down real low.
Yeah. Oh man.
So, did you have to go do the opening night, the premiere?
Oh, that's lost to the fog of time. I have no idea.
Oh me.
Well, if you're 5 years old, I mean, yeah, I'm guessing this is all very fuzzy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But the whole point of watching this movie was because I knew Jonathan.
Yeah, he sprung it on us. He
Look,
acted
Andy,
like he had seen it before too, and he
did.
I watched it for the first time last night.
Look, I will say that opening chase scene with the guy on the motorcycle when the Black Cobra like does a little swoop with the gun and shoots him through the visor and it explodes with the blood and the glass and everything. That's solid 80s cinematography right there. I love that scene.
But did you catch him getting the Charlie horses? He's trying to run the guy down. He reached down and grabbed the back of his thigh.
I think that was improv, actually.
If I recall. I think it was real life.
Yeah, I was telling the guys before that's probably the slowest foot race I've ever seen on TV.
Every fight he starts off with going.
Yeah.
He's getting his kung fu stance.
Yeah.
And then he slowly kicks, not quite up to his knee height.
I found that movie on YouTube under an account called Black Belt Theater.
Yes, that's where I watched it.
Nice.
I love that in true 80s fashion, everything takes place or all crimes go down either at the docks or in a warehouse.
Uh-huh.
Or in this case, both.
Or yeah, in this case, both, right? And then you have lots and lots of empty boxes.
Tons of
So many empty boxes and empty barrels because things
Cardboard
fall over
barrels.
and there's no weight to it at all. And one thing, and I rewound it and I counted the guy that was at the warehouse / docks that had the pump action shotgun.
Yes.
All right. 13 rounds he shot out of the same shotgun without reloading. And I'm like, okay, I have that same model at home that only holds 5. And that's it. That's if you have one in the chamber.
Well,
yeah.
Black Cobra and Spider-Man both ran out of bullets twice. But Spider-Man had a pocket full of bullets.
Not shotgun guy, though.
But not shotgun guy.
Shotgun guy.
I love it when he beats up the guy at the warehouse, and then they go out to the car, and they're listening to him on his phone. And the phone he uses is a big red phone mounted on the wall right above it. It says, telephone.
Yeah. That's so good.
Something like you see in a Batman TV show.
And they really focused in on telephone too.
Yeah. And then that guy finds the when he gets done with his phone call, he finds the bug. And apparently he puts it back because then his boss comes and he finds the bug.
He finds it too. And like a watch battery.
But while they're at the airport, apparently the colonel pickpocketed an Iranian businessman who is an importer-exporter. And in his briefcase, he hid the briefcase in a locker and sent the locker number, the tag, to his daughter, who found the briefcase, and it had $10,000 and I guess microfilm to something. And then she gets kidnapped after Malone has his way with her. And so I think if the bad guys had just left her alone, they still could have gotten away with their plot. If they just had left her there, because she didn't know anything. She never told them anything. And they shot her in the head.
Mm.
And then it becomes a terrorist situation for Die Hard.
Mm-hmm.
Where, well, okay, apparently you went to school in a skyscraper. That's what they took over.
That seems to be the case.
And I guess it was a preschool or kindergarten. And you were 4 or 5.
Yeah. That's what I did while I was there.
He was advanced. He was in business school.
Yes. the terrorists, the Iranian,
American, you must be good at this.
The Iranian terrorists, to make a statement, take over a skyscraper in Manila that's a school to make a statement to the world.
How else are you going to do it?
Oh, and the Interpol guy had I sworn it was a picture of George Bush behind his desk.
Yes, it was.
Who was?
That would have been the right guy.
I mean, was he president at that point?
Yeah, Senior Bush was.
I guess he was. So yeah. So, but it wasn't like a picture. It was like him reaching out, trying to shake somebody's hand.
Yeah. It's not a portrait.
It's not a portrait.
Yeah.
It's like he's getting off an airplane or something, reaching out to shake somebody's hand.
Somebody with a GoPro getting this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he had a McMaster car catalog sitting behind his desk, which is what, industrial parts?
Yeah.
I mean, safety equipment and stuff like that. It's always yellow with the blue writing. It's like, well, okay. But they catch the terrorist guy and they're threatening Jonathan. So the cop shoots him in their office, and then they tell everybody he committed suicide. While they were
I just remember they shot one dude in the dong.
They did.
And there were
they did.
And there were squibs. And, imagine that squib going off in your crotch. Still going to cause a little bit of agony.
I like they had the little bit of shootout at the warehouse, and Spider-Man gets shot in the arm, and he goes down. And they go back to him. He's laying on the ground going, ah. And Malone kills the guy. And he comes back, and he's just standing there. He goes, "Are you okay?" He goes, "It's just a scratch."
I got better.
So it's a very well written movie. Did you get a call back for Black Cobra 3?
I don't think I did. I don't think I would. If do you know anything about that movie?
Not
I
a
didn't know.
thing.
So I
I
didn't
don't know
know there
anything
was
about Black Cobra 1, 3, or 4.
until I talked to you this morning. I didn't know that there were a 3 and a 4, and like 1 is only known through like implication.
Yes, I
Right.
assume there's a Black Cobra 1.
I thought it was just a standalone movie. I mean, why not?
We were wondering if it was supposed to be a
Black
sequel
Cobra
to.
TOO.
We didn't know it was supposed to be a sequel to Stallone's Cobra.
Yeah.
He's the same character, but now he's Black Cobra.
Yeah.
It's a multiverse of cobras.
Yes.
I would have liked one time, like he's like, I've read your file. I hear they call you Black Cobra. Just
some kind of reference to it. Yeah.
something in there. Or is police chief when he's chewing him out, he goes, "You ate the Black Cobra." Something.
Yeah, there's not one line in the movie that I recall referring to a cobra at all. No
Yeah,
symbol,
his last name-
nothing that he used.
His last name wasn't even Cobretti or anything.
Yeah. It's Malone.
Malone. Yeah.
But my absolute favorite scene in the movie is at some point they get somebody in an Iranian organization and they're trying to get information out of him, but he's in the hospital. And they've got a guard outside the hospital. And they say, we're not going to get any answers from until the morning. And then that guy, the big Iranian guy, comes in dressed as a doctor. And the guard stops and goes, "We can't let anybody in without authorization." He goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And he reaches his pocket and pulls out a knife. And the camera flash is so big on it. It looks like he's got a lightsaber.
Yes.
All you see is this
does.
giant, it blocks the whole screen. It's so bright of a flash. And then the guy's dead.
It looks like a lightsaber pocket knife.
Yeah, so I'm assuming he was a Sith. I don't know.
He learned under Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah, that's it.
That would be appropriate for this movie.
Yeah, it would.
But
So great.
do you have any other memories you'd like to share about the Philippines, Manila, or Black Cobra?
I mean, in terms of the Philippines, like it was kind of a deal, like having the hair that I did, like just going out and about, like just walking or whatever, like people would want to come up and like touch it and everything like that. Like I kind of remember that.
Go up and touch it?
Yeah, like wanting to touch my hair and my brother's hair too. Like we were both like, like
little toe-headed kids get the same action here in the United States too.
I wouldn't know, but I'll take your word for it. I know we went to preschool and kindergarten in armored vans.
Was it a
with
skyscraper?
I don't think it was a sky. I cannot remember the building that we'd go to, but it was multi-storied.
Okay.
And we had like a floor, I think, for us. I remember being taught this actually has nothing to do with the Philippines, but for some reason it just popped in my head. I was being taught how to write my name, and the lady was like, "Do it." And probably I think I was speaking Tagalog at the time too, just by having been there for 3 years, learning language at all. Like I had both of them. But then I would just like do a little squiggle because that's how I'd always seen like people write their signatures and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But not a Philippines thing. And it was hot.
But everybody was wearing jackets in the movie.
Were they?
Yeah. He talks about how hot it is, but he's got his
members only jacket. Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed this, but he had 2 members only jackets. One of them was gray, and then he had a powder blue one.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah.
But when he took the colonel's daughter out dancing, he was dressed like Miami Vice.
Mm-hmm.
Crockett or Tubbs?
Yes. He didn't wear any pastels, but he had the big loose suit.
So I'm kind of curious, as a 4-year-old, how'd you find yourself in the Philippines? Was your dad in the military? Or?
My dad was in the military. Yeah, this is before it got shut down.
We can't talk about that.
Yep. No. I mean, there was a military base in the Philippines.
There was, yeah. He was in charge of, like, they were doing some kind of new.
Now we're all going to get
there's like a bunch of helicopters got shipped over there, and he was in charge of like all the people that were like unloading and like assembling them and like logistical and engineering and maintenance shit of some sort. I know for their part, my parents had a blast. Like my dad would go golfing with like dignitaries, and my mom would get like 3 massages a week, and we had maids, and
She still does.
yeah, but there it was like
She got used to the lifestyle.
yeah. We
She
lived
got
in
mad
like a
because her
real big
masseuse
house.
retired.
We had marble floors on both the first and second floor. Like I know, I was in no position to appreciate anything, but like it was like the lap of luxury for my parents, like the highlight of their life.
Yeah.
Which number child are you?
Well, it depends on how you count because I got 2 half sisters, one from each parent. So I would kind of be the third, but second for each parent, sort of. And then
And
I have
out
a
of how many?
brother. So I'm like
brother. Okay.
middle under 2, and then a younger brother.
Okay. And he's the one who lives like in Indiana or something?
Iowa, even worse.
Iowa. Okay.
Yeah.
Even worse.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I lived in Iowa for about 5 years. They've got more pigs than people there.
And here's a fun fact about Jonathan. His uncle was in is it Paul Revere and the Raiders? The ones who sing the
band?
Snoopy
Oh, the
song.
band. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, he played bass.
Funny.
And the song
Holy cow.
Snoopy versus the Red Baron.
That's right.
My mom saw them in Wichita Falls when she was a kid.
Wow, it's
Yep.
my uncle Tommy.
She may have a cousin out there
She
in
won
Wichita
tickets
Falls.
to that concert. Do what?
I said he may have a cousin in Wichita Falls.
It's possible.
Wait a minute. You and Bob might be related.
Be related.
I mean, anything's possible.
What year did she go see him?
Oh gosh. So your dad was in the what branch?
Army.
The Army. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's probably about
Coast
the
Guard.
time they were. Huh?
Not the Coast Guard.
Definitely not the Coast Guard. I was thinking about the helicopter thing. So that was probably when they were swapping over to the Apache from the Cobra. Not that has anything
The
to do
Black
with the
Cobra
movie.
II.
I suspect as much, but again, I wasn't like really following all that, and I didn't like grow up being all like Army. I'm into it and knowing all the stuff about it.
Were you not in the briefs?
No, they didn't include me for some reason. I know the tensions were already like there were a lot of like groups that were very much unhappy that we were there, which led
Especially
to
the Iranians.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
Well, it was the Marcos government at the time, I do believe.
Oh, the shoe lady?
The first Marcos government. The son is in charge now.
Oh.
Yep. He was elected president of the Philippines not too long ago. I think the base shut down, I want to say during the first Bush administration in 92 after a volcano.
It was sometime around then. Like I remember briefly kind of hearing about it. Like Americans don't really go there anymore, and it was sometime early 90s. But I never really went back and like learned the history of what was going on or anything.
Yeah, didn't maintain a lot of strong ties to it because I mean you were four or five.
Yeah. Apparently, like my mom would get letters from our maids for like a while, and like we learned that one of them died recently, had cancer. But that's like as strong as our of ties as we had.
Sure.
And it was, and that was just kind of like the way of life for us as kids too. It was like we'd go somewhere, we'd make our friends, and then they'd move away or we'd move away, and
right.
And so we all developed a strong sense of compartmentalization and commitment issues.
Yeah. So the military brat lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At what age did you get ugly and they stopped asking you to be in movies?
I guess right after that movie. I did go through a bit of a crisis in puberty because my hair got darker and curlier, and I didn't know what to do with it or what to think. So that could have been related to that as well. But
that was the biggest surprise for me is how blonde you were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had blonde hair as a kid, but it was more of a dirty blonde. You were like Scandinavian blonde.
Yeah. True Danish blood shining through.
Your mother's not blonde though.
No, my dad went through the same thing though. He was very, very tow-headed and then got darker and a little bit of curl to his hair.
And now he's white.
And now it's white, yeah.
It happens. It'll come back around. I was blonde-headed as a kid and then strawberry red, and now I'm going back to the phase of being a platinum blonde here.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I had the white blonde hair too. So, and then
That was your back hair, though.
That was my back
No.
hair. Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, and then probably about middle school, it started going brown. So that's how it is.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know how much more I can contribute to y'all's podcast.
Well, I
here.
appreciate you getting on. It made my night.
absolutely. This
I appreciate you tolerating us.
Yeah.
That was a very funny idea. So glad y'all had me.
I don't know many movie stars, so especially ones that have been to my house. So
Watch the dogs.
yeah, he even knows Ruth. So
Oh wow. So I don't know Ruth, but
Oh wow, I know
yeah.
Ruth and her dogs.
yes.
And her
Oh, by the
dogs.
way, Luca died.
Aw,
So had back cancer. So
dang.
yeah.
So you've seen the Alan Mann room, I take it?
He's not been in it, but he's seen it, but he doesn't know who Alan Mann is.
Oh, so you
So-
didn't burden him with that knowledge?
No, I did not burden him with Alan Mann.
Have you ever watched Unsolved Mysteries?
Yeah,
With Robert Stack.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
okay. All right. So I
I was
don't
around
know.
the age that I was in that movie.
It's probably about right.
There's an episode. I don't know the
If you
name of the episode.
if you
or
get
the
on
number.
YouTube and look for Alan Mann Unsolved Mysteries, it's the first story of that episode.
Okay.
And in the guy looks like somebody we all know. So the joke is he used to be that guy and he changed his name. But the guy is 19, living with his parents, works a third shift job, but he marries a 16-year-old girl. And he's laying in bed one day and there's a woman standing in his doorway and she fades away as she walks away. And they get haunted and the ghost possesses his girlfriend at one point. But their bedroom is right off the living room. And his parents, while she's being possessed, his parents in the living room, they go, "Are they making their usual noises?" So that's so I've got that bedroom off the living room, so we call that the Alan Mann room. So that's the joke.
The way the room and the room adjacent to the room is laid out, it goes right along with the show.
Yes, it does.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
But that thing's just full of he's 19, marries a 16-year-old. She gets possessed. There's lots of haunting in the house.
Yeah.
And it is pretty hilarious.
The 16-year-old bride. You
Yes.
can't get past that.
No.
Yes.
But this particular guy, if you back up to like 1992, that's what that guy would look like.
Yes.
The guy that we're talking about.
Yes.
He denies it. We know better because he's under witness protection. Something.
Yeah, I figured he was witness protection. His 16-year-old bride was really 34, and she was an international assassin. So they put him in witness protection.
So you see the way Sean's mind works.
Yeah. He knows me. He knows me well.
Yeah, none of this is surprising me at all.
Yes. Jonathan knows me very well. So, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Y'all have a good one, all right?
You too.
All right.
Enjoy your
You too,
evening.
man. Thanks, man.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
So that is the sole reason why I tortured you with this movie.
That's hilarious. That is so good.
Oh man.
Have I ever been talking? Okay, so have I ever been talking to you in the truck before when he's been there too?
Yeah, he's been gone for about a year. He moved up to Ohio, maybe about a year, but he worked for us for about 2 years before that. So
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought he sounded familiar.
yeah, he's ridden with me a bunch. So
Okay.
so everybody rides with me has heard Joey's voice at some time or another.
Nah, talking to him through the truck system.
He'll go through. Yeah. He'll go through the drive-throughs, and I'll ask for extra cheese.
Because for the record, I hate cheese with a passion.
Funny.
So yeah. Joey was with me when I got my chicken minis this morning.
Yeah, extra cheese.
Chicken minis. I don't know where a chicken mini is bought.
Chick-fil-A.
Ah, okay.
It's chicken nuggets on those sweet Hawaiian rolls.
Uh-huh.
And it is heaven.
So it's like little chicken sliders?
Yes. And that's why it's God's chicken.
God's chicken.
That's
well, you ain't getting it on the way to church on Sunday, though.
well, my middle son just bought a house Friday, and we were moving furniture yesterday. And he goes, "Let's go to Chick-fil-A." I said, "Not going to get that today, son."
Nope.
Yeah.
So we went to Whataburger.
You can't go there or Hobby Lobby on Sunday.
When Drake, my middle son, was in high school, we were going to Birmingham to a track meet, and on the north end of town, there was a Whataburger. And I got him and 3 of his friends in my truck. And he goes, "Oh, it's a Whataburger. We need to go there." And I said, "We go back on the way home. We'll stop at Whataburger." So they're all like excited about Whataburger. So we stop on the way back, and he's the first one to order. He gets a chicken sandwich.
What the
Instead
heck?
of a burger.
I was like, "Go to Chick-fil-A and ask for fish sandwich next time." I mean, what the crap?
Yeah.
Yeah, their chicken sandwich is all right. Popeyes is the in my opinion the best chicken sandwich.
That's because you haven't had Chick-fil-A.
Okay,
I've had
Popeyes.
Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich. I think Popeyes is still better.
So I do like Popeye's chicken sandwich, but Popeye's chicken sandwich, the breading on it tastes just like
Breading?
what's the fish place? Yeah, no.
Oh, Long John Silver, Captain D's.
I was thinking Captain.
The
It could be
fish
Long
place.
John.
Taco Bell.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, Captain D's. It tastes like Captain D's breading on the fish.
I haven't eaten at a Captain D's in a long time, so I couldn't say.
Go have a piece of fish from Captain D's, and then go have a Popeye's chicken sandwich. There will be a similar taste.
I don't think there's a
even though
Captain
one's-
D's in this area. There
or
used
a
to
Long
be
John
one.
Silver's.
Yeah.
I know you have Long John Silver's there, or at least you used to.
We used to, but they went
God,
out
I
of
haven't had
business
Long John
too.
Silver since the 70s.
Yep. I remember you'd have to put malt vinegar on it. They always had malt vinegar.
You didn't
and,
have to.
Well, if you're gonna make it taste halfway decent, it tastes like grease. So.
Well, yeah,
grease.
that's why it's good, Bob.
When I was growing up, there was a place called Wiener King. Did you all have that?
That sounds okay. Somebody went to jail over that.
And up north, you didn't have Arby's. You had Roy Rogers.
Oh yeah. I thought Roy
Yeah.
Rogers was a chicken place.
No, it was a roast beef.
Oh, okay.
Boy,
Yeah.
Rogers.
The cowboy.
Maybe I'm thinking of Kenny
No, I'm-
Rogers. Kenny Rogers is what I was thinking.
And that was the
of.
thing. Whenever we go to the Philadelphia Philadelphia Zoo, my thing was, can we stop at Roy Rogers on the way home?
And it's just like an Arby's, you said?
Yeah, it's just the northern Arby's.
Yeah.
Roast
Not a big
beef.
fan of Arby's either. That cheese sauce is nasty.
Really?
Really.
Oh,
I don't get
Arby's?
cheese sauce. I don't get cheese sauce.
Dude.
There you go. Well, I don't eat cheese in general, but yeah,
Me
the
neither.
last time I
Oh, that's
remember having
pizza.
it, it's just nasty.
The only time I have cheese is pizza.
So neither one of you guys with the cheese.
Well, I'm lactose intolerant, so yeah, I mean, I could eat
Well-
it. It just makes it unpleasant for others.
My
Screw others.
daughter's
So-
lactose intolerant, but we have lactose free milk and we have
Tried it.
lactose free cheese and
Lactose-free
can-
milk lasts for months.
It does. You can get if you get aged white cheddar has no lactose.
So old
All right.
moldy cheese tastes better.
I just know we've adapted what's in our refrigerator
You
to
said white
fit
cheddar?
her diet. White
Old white
Aged.
cheddar.
aged white
Aged
cheddar.
white
It'll say so.
cheddar.
It'll say so on the packaging.
Package 1972.
Yeah, it usually comes from Publix, so it's a little on the pricey side, but you can get it.
We
Can
don't
you
have
get it at
those here
Buc-ee's?
either. Publix.
Can you get it at Buc-ee's?
What'd you say about? I don't know. I haven't checked.
That's all they have in Texas.
Buc-ee's.
That's it.
We have
It's
them,
like-
but I never stop at them.
You fool.
I've been in one once. I've seen it.
I've also been.
I'm
in one
worried about
once.
you, Bob. I really am.
Well, first off, I stop at the Shell station on the way. If I'm going to Houston, I got a Shell station I stop at. It's big enough. It's got what I need, and I use my Shell card.
You
So-
got to go into Buc-ee's and have your phone out filming and ask people, "Is Kevin here today?"
I'm gonna leave that one.
I've
to
done it
you.
in a few of them. Joe, you did it
You
once
did.
too, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I sure did.
Poor Kevin.
I
We
believe
should
that's why
invite
he
Kevin
dropped-
on sometime.
We should. He will not come on. Kevin is afraid of me.
Why?
Well, there's many reasons why
He can't take it.
he can't take it.
He likes to flip birds, but he can't take it.
He does like to flip the birds.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it.
Yeah, I thought his reaction was a little over the top myself, but hey.
You know what? When somebody reacts like that, it makes me drive harder.
I know. I know how you Southern boys work. I ain't taking the bait.
But it's like, dude, I know how old you are. I know what time frame you grew up in. How did you make it through junior high? How are you still here? How did you survive? How did you
His
not
mama
have
came and talked to the principal every day.
Oh my!
Could be.
My boy's getting picked on.
Maybe
Which
his
makes
mom
him just get picked on more.
I would. Yeah.
Yep.
Not where we don't get off topic much. Anybody else have any comments on the movie?
It was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, the production quality was pretty low in general. It was kind of muddy. It was slow. The fight scenes were poorly choreographed.
I thought they
there
were
was
excellent.
a lot of empty
he did
boxes,
his own stunts.
a lot of empty barrels.
So many empty boxes and barrels. Yeah.
Yep.
Balsa wood stops bullets.
The squibs were very visible whenever they would explode. When somebody got shot, you could see that the squib itself when it went off. So, yeah, in general, I gave this movie half a turd out of 10 turds.
What about when he broke the guy's neck by just grabbing on the back of the head and just twisting it?
Well, he's just that good, man. He's just that good.
I mean,
he didn't even have the other hand gripping it. It was
he wasn't even gripping his neck. Yeah, he was down here. This is for my friend.
Yeah. The guy was unarmed and gave up, and I was going to break his neck.
Yeah. Golly. Man, oh man. Yeah.
But for our next one, when I host, it's going to be Narco Dollar.
Narco Dollar.
It's another Filipino special.
Narco Dollar. I'll have to check that one out. Let's see
and Jonathan was in that too.
He is in that one also. He plays the cop's son. It's in the Philippines, and he plays the cop's son again.
That's from '89 as well.
Yes.
So
and Jonathan has an
about 4 years old in that
IMDb page.
One.
Jonathan has an IMDb page.
I'm looking at IMDb right now.
Me too. Yep. Narco Dollar, also 1989. Dang, 89 was his year, wasn't it?
Yep. So.
So I'm looking for him.
And I've seen parts of that one, and I got the two confused. Which is why I said I'd seen it, because I had seen the other one.
Jonathan Sorensen?
Yep. He's only done those two movies.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, he has more IMDb credits than I do.
I don't know. Did you look yourself up yet?
I haven't.
Oh man, there's a ton of bomb mosers in here. Which one of them is me?
Jonathan Sorensen. Yeah. No photo, but there's his name.
I'm connected to Hollywood.
Let's see. There was a Bob Mosier in Dazed and Confused.
That's you.
Why not? I have no idea. It was 1993. I don't recall being in a movie in 1993. I would have been 23 at the time. There's Bob Mosier as himself on 60 Minutes.
That was you too.
Yes. They'll never catch me or me Lucky Charms. And here's Bob Mosier again on a show called Democracy Now! So yeah, that might have been me too. I'm just all over the IMDb.
There's several Sean Hamiltons in here too.
There's several Joey Russells in there.
What are the chances?
Should we be giving out our names on the internet?
Who cares? Yeah. I mean, did you get out your social security number and your birth date?
Yours too?
I live in Wet Spoon, Virginia.
Wet Spoon. I live in the great state of Texas. Don't confuse me from my daddy.
They're changing the name to Buc-ee's.
Who is?
The Texas. They're changing the name to Buc-ee's.
Oh, to Buc-ee's? Buc-ee's America. Yeah, we're going to change our new motto. It's going to be Get Bucked.
Bucky came to Joey's son's birthday.
He did.
Really?
He sure did.
So
yeah.
you hired somebody to come there in a Bucky costume?
Sure.
Yeah, Bob, that's it.
I mean, is that a thing? I don't know.
Or it could just be that he knows somebody who bought a Bucky suit and showed up at his house.
No, well, who would that be?
It could be anybody at this point.
You know what? It went over well enough that my son has about 3 times requested, "Hey, do you think you could get Bucky to come to my birthday again next time?" Well, Bucky came in and my son and his buddy were sitting on the couch playing, I don't know, something on Nintendo, probably Smash Brothers or something like that. And then in walks Bucky in full costume, right? And these boys don't know what to say. They're both just like everything is so uncomfortable.
They've never seen a grown man dressed as Bucky before.
and then Bucky leaves, and they were like, "That was so awesome."
They took pictures with Bucky.
Yeah, they did. They sure did.
Was it you in a Bucky costume, Sean?
I don't know what you're talking about, Bob.
Funny.
It
And
was
where
the-
did you
the
find
actual-
a Bucky costume?
At Bucky's.
Did you rent it?
No, I bought it.
You bought an entire costume.
It's just
So, are you a
onesie.
furry now, Sean?
I guess I am. I should wear that to next There Goes My Money podcast.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
Dude.
Oh my
I'll
goodness.
turn my air down real low because it's kind of warm.
So my only Bucky story is one Christmas, my in-laws, who are the squarest of people. I mean, from Squaresville, Daddy-O. And they gave the kids their gifts, and one of the gifts to my kids was a T-shirt from Bucky's that said "Power to the Beaver."
Oh, great!
Oh yeah.
For the record,
Just
Bob has
looked
two
at
daughters.
each other, sort of glancing, trying to suppress a chuckle as this Christmas gift is opened.
I would not have suppressed the giggle.
Oh my God!
No, a couple years ago, Ruth's daughter had a Dirty Santa, so I got a Bucky suit, and that was my present. And her daughter opened it first thing, and said, "No trades," and went in the bedroom and put it on.
Oh my!
So, those things are very popular. They come in a multitude of sizes.
Well, they would have to now, Sean, now wouldn't they?
Yes. My dog is very interested in being on camera.
Yes. Say hello, doggo. What kind of dog is that? It looks like it's got a little bit of hound dog in it.
He's an American foxhound.
Foxhound, huh?
He weighs about 120 pounds.
Yeah, he's a big fella.
He is a huge fella.
How many bags of dog food does he burn through in a
He
week?
only eats a bowl a day. Sometimes just half a bowl.
Yeah.
But he lounges all day.
Is he an old dog?
No, he's only 2.
Oh yeah. So he's a lazy hound dog.
He's very attached to me.
Do you go hunting with him? You go hunting foxes?
No, I do not. I do not hunt.
So is he like the kind of dog from The Fox and the Hound?
That's what they named him, Copper. I got him from the pound. He was a
Yeah.
year old. The girl who bought him went to college, and her mother didn't want to take care of him, so she put him in the pound.
Aw.
So, but
Did
he
you
was
get
named
outside
Copper.
time? Did you get to run around outside?
Yeah, we got a backyard.
Good.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah,
Sean's got all kinds of yard.
People shouldn't. People who live like in houses without yards or apartments shouldn't have big dogs.
No.
No, they really shouldn't. It's being selfish.
Well,
He's a
big
big
dog
boy.
just needs some running room.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I mean. It's being selfish and
Yep.
it's not being fair to the dog.
Mm-mm. Don't ever own more dog than you can handle. This is going to be our PSA here.
Remember, spade and neuter.
That too.
For
Bob
cash.
Barker wasn't barking up the wrong tree on that one.
And get lots of hot women to stand around and do showcases.
That too. Absolutely.
can-
The
you
price
can
is
swing
right.
it.
You know, even if I don't know what the price is, Bob, I'm still interested.
Yes, I'm very interested in that showcase, Bob.
So when my kids were in high school, One of them was in, I want to say, was it like junior? It was some sort of JCVC, whatever it was called. Anyway, you had to do so many. You had to do so many. Like Joey Russell keeps bugging me. What the hell does this guy want?
I mean, did you just send?
3.
Oh, okay.
So you had to have so many volunteer hours. So we volunteered at. That's hilarious. We volunteered at the local animal shelter, socializing dogs, and we saw this one dog one time. His name was Thor. He was huge. Probably weighed about 150 pounds if he weighed an ounce. But just, I mean, a great dog. Very outgoing. I mean, yeah, he was big, but he's pretty gentle for a big dog. But he was so big he could put his paws on my shoulder, and I'm right about 6 foot tall. And somebody adopted him. And he went in there for a while, and then we went back, and he was back again. And they told us, yeah, the people who adopted him, they brought him back because, you know, they didn't know how to deal with a dog that's that big. It's the kind of dog that just doesn't need to be in an apartment or a small home or anything like that. It's just too much animal, and it's really, in my opinion, yeah, it's selfish and kind of cruel for people to treat a dog like that. I'm not
Copper doesn't know how big he is, and he is very jealous if I'm petting another dog.
Nah. He muscles in, does he?
I am his person.
Yeah.
He cries when I leave.
Aw.
In the morning, he knows I'm going to work. He's fine. But if I come in and go out,
oh yeah,
all you hear is Boo!
Yeah, because he figures you're done for the day. You're right. Home. You're gonna lounge, and he's gonna hang out with you.
He knows when I put on an orange shirt and jeans, I'm headed to work. If I'm wearing shorts, he's like, "Where are we going?"
Yeah.
So
dogs are smart that way.
Yeah, he knows.
At least you would hope anyway. We got a rat terrier, and she's as dumb as a box of rocks. You think she'd be smarter than she is? She's just dopey. But
I got when I was first married, my father-in-law got me 2 dogs. We're building our house next door to his, and we're staying with him. And he said, "You're gonna need some dogs," and they were doing an extension on the dog pound at the time. So he brought home a lab and a cocker spaniel. And I said, "Well, I really wanted a male dog." And he said, "No, that's a male dog." I said, "No, I think it's a female, and I think she's pregnant." He said, "No, you don't know what you're talking about." 2 weeks later, I had 5 puppies. So
typical father-in-law response to the son-in-law.
You showed
him.
him.
You know what you're talking about.
So I kept 2 of the puppies, gave the rest away. They were easy getaways, and the mother disappeared. And I was like, okay, that was weird. The puppies stayed. I had them, and then one day the puppies disappeared. And I was telling us, I looked, I ran up and down the street, knocked on everybody's door. I live way out in the sticks. The joke was when you hear the banjo music, you're almost there. So nobody had seen my dog. So I told my father-in-law. He said, "Hold on." He went across the street. The neighbors were eating dinner. He walked into their house, didn't knock, just walked in the house, grabbed their youngest son, who was probably about 20, by his hair, dragged him out into the front yard. The whole family follows him out, pulls out a pistol, puts it up against the guy's head, and says, "The dogs better be back within an hour. I'm going to shoot you, bury you, and they'll never find you." The guy pissed his pants and passed out.
Damn.
Yeah, no
Half
kidding.
an hour later, I hear a car door slam and a car peeling off, and my dogs come running up the driveway.
So that's
sometimes
a pretty
extreme
rough story
force
right there.
Works. You know?
Yes.
Especially if you know that.
Yeah.
What was his motivation for taking your dogs?
The guy
selling them to somebody.
Complete ass. He was just a complete ass.
Yeah.
But my dogs, I kept them for several years. Got some geese in the pond, and they would spend all day chasing geese.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them got pregnant, and she was like big time pregnant in October, and she was chasing a goose. I came home, and it took me an hour to get out of the pond. Labs love water anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So she gave birth that night. But But I trained the geese to run up to me so I could grab the dogs. The geese would run up and they would stick their heads out behind my legs and honk till the dog got close enough for me to grab it, and then the geese would run off. I came home one day and she had a goose in her mouth, and I started yelling about she killed the goose, and she dropped it, and the goose got up and ran off. It was playing possum.
Smart goose.
But she weaned her puppies, and the other one had a hysterical pregnancy, produced milk, and started nursing the puppies. So they were very attached. And I had to get rid of them because we had emus, and they were chasing the emus.
So you had emus on your property?
My father-in-law did.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in my living room one Saturday, and I see an emu, I see my dog, and I see him on a four-wheeler, a cattle prod. And the emu and the dog jumped the fence and went off in the woods, and he couldn't catch him. So about an hour later, she comes back, and she is just covered in blood. And he goes, we can't have these dogs. They killed all the neighbors' chickens. He had a bunch of fighting chickens.
Mm-hmm.
They killed them all. They slaughtered them.
Wow.
And he was like, I'm going to sue you. And I said, go ahead, call the police. I said, tell them what the chickens were for and tell them what you got in the shed back there.
Yeah.
And I never heard a word from him again.
Yeah.
But
sounds like you're kind of living in the hood out there in the country.
I was. It was the
country
sticks.
hood.
Yep.
Well, I contend there's just as much crime in the country as there is in the city.
The guy was
just
making
don't
meth.
hear about it.
The guy raised chicken cockfights.
Cocks. Yeah.
And he made meth.
Well, I mean,
So,
they kind of go hand in hand.
It sounds like Lacey Spring.
But he goes, we're going to have to get rid of these dogs. They're just killing everything. I said, okay, I agree. He said, I know a friend in Tennessee.
They keep smoking my meth. Your dogs.
Well,
Yeah.
He goes, I got a friend in Tennessee. He's always looking for good hunting dogs. He'll train them, and and they'll be okay. I said, yeah, you got a quote unquote friend in Tennessee. So I figured he took him off and shot him. About 6 months later, one of them showed up on my front porch.
Came home from Tennessee, did it?
I kept her for a week. She killed a goat, and I had to take her and haul her off to the pound.
Sheesh.
But they love blood. They got a taste for blood.
Yeah.
That dog got kicked in the head by a horse one time. Her jaw was off to the side, and we're trying to catch her to take her to the vet, and she yawned and popped it back, and then went back to chasing the horse.
Round two.
I was building my neighbor.
Fight.
I worked at KB Toys, so my shift was usually like a closing shift, and that guy stayed up all night making meth. So, like in the mornings, especially on Saturday, I'd be out in the yard doing stuff, and I was building a dog pen. So I'm hammering, and I keep hearing something. I stop, and I don't hear anything, and I start hammering. I hear, "God damn son of a bitch, motherfucker!" And I stop, and so I just started hitting the hammer and looking around. And every time I start hammering, he stick his head out and start cussing me because he was sleeping during the day.
Oh.
I'm like, it's freaking 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not my fault if you got to sleep during the day. People do stuff
in the middle of the day. Yes,
I mean it's the middle of the freaking
when
day.
Things get done.
Yeah,
when the daylight's burning.
I mean, get some headphones or something.
So your father-in-law certainly sounds like a character.
Oh, he is. I work for him.
I know. Your ex-father-in-law.
Yes, but he is something else. Yeah, we went to a baseball game, kids baseball game, coming home, and we turn on our road, and there's a guy laying in the middle of the road. It was the guy who stole my dogs. And he's passed out, just sprawled out in the road. So we called the sheriff, and they come out there, and they're trying to wake him up, and they get some smelling salts, and they put it under his nose, and he starts to wake up, and they help him up, and they let go, and his head falls back, and you hear it sound like a watermelon hitting the ground, just bonk. He just laid there. They got an ambulance out there, and they're like, well, what should we do with him? They said, his father showed up and said, I'll just take him home. Bill went out in the pasture one day and saw him laying out there on the ground covered in ants, just covered in fire ants.
Oh my God.
And he came home and said, your son's dead out in the field.
Oh,
and they start crying, went, oh no, he was just drunk and passed out.
Well, he'd been out there long enough getting covered in fire ants, he probably would be dead.
They owned a half acre. Bill owned 100 acres that surrounded their half acre. And they would come out with deer all the time and said they killed it on their half acre.
It just wandered onto my property, so I shot it.
Yeah.
Bill was out there fencing one day, and one of the neighbors was like, "Your property line goes from that tree to that tree." Bill goes, "No, the survey, I own half your bedroom." He goes, "I tell you what, I'll let you live in it for rent free for now, but I'm fencing right up to your house and going around it."
So their house was literally surrounded by his property,
Yes.
and I guess there was just a dirt road that was a thoroughfare
No, they were on the edge of the road.
on the edge of the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
When
I
he-
was gonna say because it was in the middle. Surely there had to be an easement or something.
Well, he surrounded them on three sides, and then we own the other side of the street.
Right.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, matter
They're
of fact,
connected to the road.
the way that when they ran the road through the property, I owned 10 feet across the street. And when Bill bought that land, he subdivided it to give his son 10 acres to build on. But I owned the front 10 feet.
Uh-huh.
So he goes, "We need you to sign some papers, just deeding that over." I said, "Okay, shouldn't be a problem." He goes, "Good, I've already signed your name." Okay.
All right then, Bill.
I already took care of it for you. See,
Yeah, so
I forged
You
your
ain't gotta worry about
signature.
it, boy.
It's
Yeah.
not like he didn't know what your signature
it's not
looked
like I
It
haven't
was
forged his a billion times at work.
No.
Yeah.
Bill's not here to sign this. Can you sign it for him? Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I do it all the time. So,
Oh gosh. Gosh.
Well, it's a good thing the IRS isn't watching.
the FBI is going to show up my doorstep.
Well, I don't know about any of that, but I do know that I mean, who hasn't forged their spouse's signature? I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
For real.
I think it may have happened once or twice.
Yeah, I remember watching my mom sign my dad's name. When I was growing up, she'd like back of a check. We got to go
Yeah.
to the bank. Your dad's not here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eddie
I used
J.
to do it all
Russell.
the time. I did it when I was married all the time.
Yeah.
They need to stop putting "and" on these damn checks. I've run into that
Yeah.
before.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the "and" thing, and then it's like, okay, well, I either have to make this look really different,
Yeah.
or I have to wait for us to be in the same room at the same time.
Now
Yeah.
you don't even send the check in. I just use my phone to deposit checks.
Yes, that's what I do.
Yep.
I don't trust it. That sounds.
Why? It's the bank, dude. Why would you trust it one way or the other? It shows up in my account.
Only problem is
Yeah.
I got a really
So-
hot bank teller at my bank, and I like going by there.
There you go.
I see.
There you go. Yeah.
I remember the
She sees this, she'll know who she
the
is.
I'm
deposit
glad that-
doodles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I used to do that all
The
the time.
strip
didn't I?
club deposit doodles.
Yes, yes, yes.
Make
Sexy
her,
Santa at Christmas.
Uh-huh.
go by there and make her laugh.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm glad all of our bank ladies are all old and fat. That's good for me. It's good for me. Yeah.
This one's not old or fat.
Yes.
She
No.
is-
You
She
told
is
me. It's-
married, but
Well, I mean, looking's free.
yep, looking's free.
Yeah.
Did you say licking's free?
No, that's probably not. No, I
No.
said looking.
People pay
Oh.
for that.
Yeah.
You'd pay for that.
I imagine that probably that would. Yeah.
Somewhere out there, somebody's paying for something. Guarantee you.
Oh yeah.
So, did you guys want to talk about anything that you have bought?
Only thing
Yes.
I've bought in the last week is Silverbolt. That's it.
That's it. All four
Yeah,
of
but
them.
dude.
Oh yeah,
I
Joe. I
mean-
forgot to tell you, Hasbro sent my other ones before I could cancel them, so I will soon have 3 Silverbolts.
I guess his wing is supposed to go like this on his arm, but
Is it?
I don't know. I like
goes
it like
whichever way
this,
you
kind
like
of
it.
folded in.
I think
So,
that
do
looks
you
better.
have 3/4 of a silver bolt there, or is that
Yeah.
all of them?
I have an arm, obviously, and I have
One leg.
Oh, I see. I see.
yeah, it really sticks out the back.
It
But
does.
it does in the cartoon. You look at the show and it does too.
It does, and and that is how it is on the show, and the guys, gosh, the guys on RC, at least not everybody, but it's like such Debbie Downers about stuff. It's like, okay, look, this is more or less what it looks like on the show. It is. I mean, it's not like the toy. So, I mean, if you want the toy, then go get the old toy, which thankfully I have one of those too. But I mean, on the TV show, there's airplane stuff hanging off the back.
Yep.
There just is.
So is it better than the Combiner Wars one?
Oh, by a lot. Yeah.
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 I'm still inclined to wait to see if they come out with a box set on that one.
They did for the Stronicons.
They did.
And they did not say they would not do it for this one. They just said they're not doing it for Constructicons.
Yeah,
In the next 2 years.
They were very, yeah. They put emphasis on something. I don't know why the Constructicons, seems like the Constructicon, or you know what, all these guys would be great for a box set. I don't know why you wouldn't.
I don't think they want you to know how much you're actually paying for it.
Well, if you want to do it different, do it G2.
All right. So one thing that they were griping about that I was, it's like I was listening to it like 2 days later, but I wanted to jump in, go back in time, jump in on the show and go guys. You're talking about Devastator. It is the most parts formery, kibble-y combiner period that there ever has been.
Yeah.
Old Devastator, which you can't see him in pointing
G1
right
Devastator,
there, or maybe you maybe see a little bit of him. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So when you bought each individual bot, it came with part of the Devastator, right? The chest plate, the hook came with the head,
the diaper.
Right? Yeah. So somebody came with the diaper, and there's the purple leg, purple sort of waist piece that you cannot you can't connect the legs to long haul at all without it.
Well, the forearm and hands were separate pieces.
The forearm and hands were separate pieces. So it's like, so I did I wonder what it would be like, because if you sold each Constructicon separately, no box sets, and each one of them came with a piece of Devastator. So it's all individually 6 pieces, and you sell them all, say, Voyager price. Guess what? It works out to the exact same money.
Yeah.
It's $210. You added up $210. What you're paying for it now is $210. If you do it all 6 is Voyagers, it's $210.
And part of what you're paying for is engineering.
Yeah. So it's not. I don't get the gripe is where I'm coming from at all, because he's always been like that. You know, when they try to incorporate all parts into the bots so that there's not extra parts, you get the I can't remember what series it came in, but that Titan class Predaking, that was garbage.
Yeah.
I don't have one, but I've seen them up close a couple of times, handled them in hand. It's a hot mess. I would rather it come with parts to snap on and it look good rather than the other way around.
I've got that Titan class Predaking. He looks pretty good. I mean,
you do have one?
Up. Yeah.
I don't have one. I don't buy Titan class combiners.
So I will say this: Joey, the comment you made about just the general attitude towards some of these things. I was talking to my wife the other day, and I said, I kind of wonder what it's like to be people who design these toys for children to have grown men critique their work.
Right.
They don't design these for children, no.
They kind of do. That's their primary market.
Or
at least traditionally it was.
This is not
Masterpiece and things like that. No.
Studio Series is not for children.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, the audience has changed.
Now, there is a loophole in what they said. They will not do a Devastator box set for the next 2 years. They did not say they would not do a Tonkinator box set.
So you think they'll do a Tonkinator in that version?
No, I don't, but it's a loophole.
So my thought on that is that, I mean, I guess you could buy some of the green ones now, and then within the next 5 years, get maybe orange or yellow, and then you could make your own Devastator where it's different colored parts. Sort of kind of like a Diaclone one. So they had red and blue as well.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know why they have not done a Diaclone version of those toys.
Japan might.
Yeah, no joke.
Well, we don't know about it, so I doubt they have. I mean, think we would know about it.
Well, they may be saving it for Christmas,
Suppose so. I mean,
they could do a Diaclone box set, and it'd come out as Diaclone.
I mean,
yeah.
When is Megatron? I'm seeing reviews for him on YouTube, and I can't wait for him to hit Japan and we find out he's got a gun mode.
Yeah, I think there's an intermediate mode where it may be a gun mode.
Yeah, I can't think that they wouldn't try to sneak one in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my submarine comment.
Yes, I know, and that kid did not get your submarine comment. Periscope,
dude. That dude was kind of tweaking a little bit.
Yeah, I heard
he's
about
definitely
that.
autistic.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, he's one of the kids from this generation. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, he was a bundle of something.
He didn't get half my
bundle of
jokes.
fun.
He did not get half my jokes.
No, well, it's to be expected.
He didn't get your submarine joke either. So
he didn't. Would you think he would know that one? I mean, that one's been around for a minute, and that's not particular to any generation.
No.
I mean, that's a very recent thing.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
But yep, I expect we'll see him next time too. So
I was hoping Joey would be on next time.
Yeah, Joey, you can experience it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'm good.
What are you doing to your silver bolt?
It's turning him into submarine
To
mode.
Superion.
Yeah, that's what Bob said. I'm making his back, getting his back right because it was not aligned properly and pegged in as it should
buy
have
anything,
been.
Bob?
Do what?
Did you buy anything?
No, man. It's the same stuff I showed off last time when we didn't record any audio. I did open up my ROM though. He's pretty freaking cool.
Oh, neat.
So,
where'd you get that from? Who sells that? I know
Big
you
Bad
already
Toy
told
Store.
me, but okay.
Yeah, I got it from Big Bad.
Did you get his brother Ram?
Yeah, exactly. Random access memory. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's
CPU.
read-only memory.
Yep, he's read-only memory. I'm not really sure if they ever explained what ROM was supposed to stand for. I imagine that they were kind of playing off of that because it was an electronic toy.
It sounded computery.
It does.
And
so
he's a
when you
robot.
turn his head, be careful because his little shoulder bits there get in the way of turning his chin. Might scrape off some of the silver from him. So if you do buy this toy, I think it would be cool if they at least had some sort of little light up feature, or maybe a glow in the dark feature, something like that.
Light piping.
Yeah, it really should.
Light piping, even.
Yeah, light piping would be cool. And they.
How much
they
was
do some really nice stuff with light piping that really pops. But I guess they didn't really want to diminish the finish here on the back, but they could have used like a clear plastic for the top up here, and then maybe a red plastic for where the eyes are. So once again, grown men critiquing the work that's intended technically for children. Do what?
Bob, children aren't going to know what that is.
That's true.
He had a comic book.
Have no idea.
Well, the comic book ended in the late '80s, early '90s.
It did. You're right,
dude. I barely know what that is.
Well, no, they brought
almost
back
50.
they brought back a comic at IDW a couple of years ago.
Yeah, who reads IDW garbage?
Yeah, he was in like what 4 issues? I mean,
he had his own series there for a bit.
Yeah.
Yep. Now he does kind of.
So your figure there, how much did he set you back?
Oh, how much was ROM here? I want to say it was close to $30.
Okay.
So that seems
scale.
to be that seems to be the going rate these days, and he's about 7 inches tall.
Okay.
Now, I am a guy, so you can't really take my
video.
word for that. So
yeah.
Was he supposed to? He's G.I. Joe size. Was he supposed to be taller than everybody else in the comic book?
He was. He's a cyborg, so yeah, he's a bit.
Well,
taller.
I knew that. He's a GoBot.
He is a GoBit.
He's a GoBit.
A GoBit.
He is a GoBit. I think that. I mean, I'm trying to think of how I'm going to display him because he really doesn't go with any of my other Marvel.
They didn't make
stuff.
any other Space Knights, did they?
No, they haven't made any other Space Knights, and any interactions that he had with other characters. Primarily, it was Rick Jones.
Didn't you make a Rick Jones figure?
I do not have a Rick Jones.
He's
figure.
in every freaking comic book series.
I don't disagree.
Rick Jones.
Oh, they made a set with the Gray Hulk and Dr. Banner. So I don't know why they haven't done a Rick Jones.
I mean, he had the Nega bands at one time, didn't he?
He was $25.99. Yes, he did. He was the sidekick for Hulk, Captain America. He was Bucky, and he swapped places with both the original Captain Marvel and also Genis-Vell, the son of Captain Marvel.
And they would just like swap bodies, wouldn't they?
Well, so when you
They
hit
go
the Nega
dimensions.
bands, one of them would be in this universe, and the other one would be in
the Negaverse.
The Negaverse or the Microverse or whatever verse it was. Yep. So, but anyway, yeah, I like him. He's pretty cool. I've showed off the other stuff here before, but I'll do it again because we lost audio on our last one.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? That sucked,
We should just do it all over again.
We kind of are.
Okay. Well,
we were talking
right.
about doing. I wanted to do it, but we do each other's voices.
So I'm not really sure how distinct any of our voices are that the other can imitate.
Well, it'd be like me doing Bob right now. I'd be going, so I got my wife this toy, and she really likes to play with it in the bedroom.
I don't sound like
Y'all.
Y'all.
Then we went to Buc-ee's and got us a brisket sandwich.
We rode our pet dinosaur to Buc-ee's and got a brisket sandwich.
With nothing
Brisket
but a
on the
cowboy hat on.
So, yeah, Maximum Series Hulk. He's pretty cool. He's big. I think I've told the story last time how I replaced a couple of smaller Hulks with him.
Yes. Well, Hulk is supposed to be really big.
He is supposed to be big.
Said.
Yeah.
And then I got my Fleischer era Superman.
You haven't taken that out yet?
I haven't. I'm not. I only take them out a little bit at a time, you know. I don't open all my toys all at once.
What is Fleischer era Superman?
1940s.
Cartoon.
40s, okay.
Yep, there were two, I guess you could call them two seasons because they were released in movie theaters.
Okay.
Because, you know, they didn't have television. No. But anyway, the Fleischer series ran for 2 years. The first year was fairly traditional Superman. Second year, and that's the one that a lot of people are probably familiar with, where he battles against a legion of robots that just go around robbing jewelry stores and banks and stuff like that.
That's the one where he's fighting the meteors coming in. He's punching the meteors.
You got that too. Except I think it was a volcano.
Well,
that
there's
went off
one
near
with
Metropolis, and he was punching the magma that was coming out of the volcano.
And there's one with the scientist shooting him with a laser, and he's fighting a laser.
Yep, he's punching the laser.
Because you can punch light like that.
Yes.
Yeah, of course you can. I do it all the time.
Yes.
So the Legion of Robots, robbing banks and such, is that part of Intergang, or was that not there yet?
That was before
Intergang.
Intergang.
Didn't exist at that point. So
when did Intergang come into the picture?
Jack Kirby introduced Intergang when he was doing
70s,
New Gods.
And the what was that in the Jimmy Olsen series? That's where he also introduced.
I think it was New Gods.
Well, so he introduced Darkseid in Jimmy Olsen.
Did he?
And then so some of those concepts that later showed up in his New Gods series, he first tested them out a little bit. In Jimmy Olsen.
The thing about New Gods is Scott Freeman, who was the good guy's son. They traded sons.
Yeah.
For a piece of
Scott Free.
Okay, Scott Free. And his powers were he was an escape artist.
Yes. Mr. Miracle. Yes. So the idea was
he's like
that he was held,
like a new god.
He was held hostage and he escaped along with Big Barda.
Big Barda, right.
From Apocalypse.
From Annie
from Granny Goodness.
Yeah.
Who was the leader of the Furies.
But everybody else has powers and he can escape.
They all have
and
powers
he used
because
they're
new gods.
Yeah, but his great power is he can escape from traps.
Yep. So you got to remember
this midget with me everywhere I go.
First off, Kirby, Jewish. So secondly, Mr. Miracle is basically Houdini.
Right.
It's a Houdini homage.
Yeah.
So, carrying over some of the things that he remembered from his childhood, he would kind of bring those concepts.
But it's like saying Superman has a twin brother who can walk across the street without getting hit by a car. That's his power.
Well,
he can play Frogger really well.
He played Frogger.
So could George Costanza.
Yeah, I mean all the guy he's one of the new gods, and your power is I can escape.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he can get slippery. It's not like he can telepathically pick locks. So he has gadgets hidden in his shoes and stuff, and that's what he used to pick locks.
I'm going to be controversial here.
Uh-oh.
I want to talk about Jack Kirby in general. So Jack Kirby, if you look at his work from the 1940s, much more polished artist. As Kirby went through his career, he was always a dynamic artist, had a lot of interesting ideas.
A lot of background details.
But from the execution standpoint, I think his work was, I'm going to say, a little on the sloppy side, the further along that he went.
Which part are you talking about, execution? Drawing or writing?
The drawing. The writing was terrible.
He was a concept guy.
He was
not a writer guy.
That's right. That's what Stan did. Stan was the writer. Jack was the concept guy.
Right.
He came up with the ideas, and basically Stan made them make sense.
Stan was a good hype man.
Well, he was a good hype man too.
And so he got all the attention, and that kind of ticked Jack Kirby off.
Well, that ticked a lot of people off, but I'll say this. So I remember seeing a interview with Stan Lee and Julius Schwartz. Julius Schwartz was
the Schwartz with her?
Huh? No, the Schwartz was no. First, Julius was a guy. Secondly, maybe the Schwartz was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't look at his pants. So I can't tell you. I didn't feel around in his pockets.
Okay.
My point is that they were doing an interview, and they were talking to this guy who was a college-age comics collector.
Uh-huh.
And Julius Schwartz was dismissive. He literally said that comics readers are idiots. They're dumb, et cetera, et cetera. Uh-huh. He's telling this to a college student who read comics. And the whole time, Stan's just sitting there. He didn't say nothing. He just knowingly smiled. Uh-huh. And he's like, that's why we're beating you. That's why we're beating you in the market right there. Yeah. Because I understand who our audience is. And a big part of that, of course, was that hype. Because he would go to college, he would go to universities, and he would do seminars and stuff like that. And he was always out there pushing the business. Because he lived through the 50s.
Yeah.
And that's when the industry bottomed out.
Mm-hmm.
He had to fire a bunch of people. That's when they all went freelance. They were all on staff. They were all working in the bullpen. And they had a closet full, just backlog material that had never been published. And Martin, I want to say Goodman, the guy who was the actual publisher, the owner of the company that owned Marvel Comics. A lot of people are under the concept that Stan owned Marvel Comics, and he didn't. He was just an employee. He actually worked for his cousin-in-law.
Yeah.
That was the guy who actually owned the company.
Right.
But once he found out that work was sitting in the closet, he told Stan, you got to fire everybody except for necessary office staff. And when we burn through that work, then you can start hiring people again for freelance work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and that was part of, that whole industry kind of bottomed out. And part of the reason, too, is that comics, in large measure, were for everybody. It wasn't just kids' entertainment.
Right.
A lot of those
cartoons. The Flintstones were for adults. They weren't for kids.
Yeah. A lot of those comics were shipped overseas in the 40s. They went to GIs.
Yeah.
And when they came back, they didn't have time to read comics. Besides, who wants to read about a guy battling against Nazis with a shield when you just fought against the Nazis and you knew what it was like? And, that you don't want to revisit that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but anyway, all that aside.
So I think what you're saying is Stan knew his audience.
Stan knew his audience.
And he knew how to market to them.
Stan was up until probably, I guess, the 80s. He had his finger on the pulse. And I think he still, through the 80s, he still had some direction.
He was in Hollywood. trying to sell Marvel properties for movies.
He could see ahead what was going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when after Shooter had his faults, but after Jim Shooter left Marvel or was fired, that's when it was shortly thereafter the Image was made, and everybody went to the hype.
Yep.
Who's the hot new artist? Blah blah blah. The writing took a nosedive. They said the artist is the thing. Screw the writers.
Yep.
Chris Claremont was doing X-Men. They made 3 more X-Men books. Didn't consult him at all. Just pick the artist, let them write what they want. Didn't matter what he was doing. And the market died shortly after he quit. He said, "That's it. I can't do this anymore."
After their recovery,
and it sucked when Joe Quesada took over. Marvel's was trash.
After their recovery from bankruptcy, which was an engineered bankruptcy, it's not like they actually went bankrupt. It's the same way that Toys R Us went bankrupt. Same sort of what are those things called? I'm trying to remember.
Asset transfers?
No. The companies that buy up other companies.
Oh, not venture capitalist. It's not venture capitalist. It's
like vulture capitalist.
It's hostile.
They dumped their debt on them.
Yeah.
Hedge funds.
Yeah.
Yep, hedge funds. I think those should be outlawed, quite frankly. But that aside, they were purchased and used as part of a hedge fund. That's why they wound up having to file bankruptcy. But when they came out of bankruptcy, you're absolutely 100% correct. Image, in a large measure, ruined the market because of multi-covers, hype,
glossy cover, holographic covers.
Yep. Too much focus on the art, not much focus.
Every other month is a number one.
Do what?
We're going to cancel this book and bring it back a month later as number one issue.
Yeah, and there's only 24 issues. Well, we're canceling it. We're going to give you a new number one.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted a number one. They were all chasing the number ones, which is funny because prior to that, in the eras prior to that, very often a high number on the comic was seen as an asset.
Yeah.
Because people thought, well, this is a book that's been around for a while. It's going to be around for a while more, so it's a good investment. And that proved to be correct because all those number one issues, we had – I worked for Lone Star Comics briefly here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They had boxes and boxes full of X-Force 1 and X-Men 1. They were unsellable. Yeah. Absolutely unsellable. And these were books
everybody played speculation market. Nobody was reading them.
Yep.
They were just buying for speculation.
It was Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
Is what it was.
Beanie
but
Babies.
When I got out of comics, stopped reading comics, it was like I was a big X-Men fan. But Chris Claremont's guys were in Genosha. Jim Lee's guys were in somewhere else. Wolverine was somewhere else. Wolverine was in every book. It's he's in Africa. What is he doing here?
So Joe Quesada helped out the Hero Initiative one year, and I was regional volunteer for the organization at the conventions. And I asked Joe one time, I said, what would be really kind of cool is if y'all did an event where Wolverine did not appear in any comic for 1 month. You could call it Where's Wolverine?
Yeah.
And he kind of poo-pooed the idea. Whoa, we do that. He's our top, our hottest commodity. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just a fan. I'm just one of the people who buys your books. Whatever.
Yeah.
20 years later, guess what they do?
Fired
Where's Wolverine event?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
They don't nickel, Marvel.
They don't care about their audience.
I want Joe Quesada to personally send it to me.
like I can make Hasbro profitable in a month. If they just,
it would be easy.
They actually just put out what people wanted instead of listening to corporate people who have no clue what people want.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Marvel could do the same thing. You could sell books again if you actually gave people what they wanted.
I stopped reading comics almost 10 years ago. I just lost interest in it.
I lost it
was either
way
the
before
same
that.
stuff I'd read before, or it was obviously not for me.
No,
that was not their target audience.
They write for a small audience instead of trying to go broad.
Well, you got to realize that they were considering a 12,000 issue run at that time a successful run.
Well, it's like something I heard Simon Furman say when they canceled Transformers. The sales were higher than what they considered a good sale now. He said that would be considered cancellation books back then.
Yeah.
He said we were like 4 times that, and they said it wasn't good enough, and they canceled us.
I mean, comic sales have diminished over time as there's been more competition in the market for other things. You gotta realize that runs on comics back during the golden age were in the hundreds of thousands as just a norm.
Right.
Yeah. I think they did like almost a 500,000 print run on some of those books back then. Because what else was there? I mean, it was periodicals, radio, and the movie theater.
Well, another thing that really killed the industry is when I was in high school, I could go into a gas station and pick up a comic book.
Yep.
You have to hunt them down now.
You do. Well, and that goes back to distribution. When Diamond Distributors took over distribution, it pretty much all went to the comics shops. And you gotta remember in the 80s, there were a few titles that were like comic shop exclusive.
Yeah, they were the ones that weren't approved.
Kazar.
Non-comic code
Yeah,
approved.
yeah. I think the Kazar book that they had with no ads in it. So there were no ads in that book either.
Right.
And there was another one. I don't know. I think it was direct to shops as well. Marvel Fanfare. Same deal, no ads.
Yeah. Marvel Fanfare was,
That was a great series, actually. I
love
that
Marvel Fanfare.
Anthology series. Yeah.
I also liked Marvel Age. Because I know what was coming
it was
up.
For, keeping up on the news of the industry.
And they were selling it for 15 cents. There was no content. There was no It was copywriting is all it was.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's advertising.
Yeah, and they still charge you like 15, 25 cents for it.
But what's Cosmo? Cosmo magazine was just advertising too.
Right.
There's a few articles we're going to put in there to pretend like we're a magazine, but it's mostly just ads.
But they also used to have they had their little page in every comic book for subscription. And it would tell you what was coming out next month.
Yep. And there was a soapbox, and there were like little blurbs. Excuse me, in there about what was going on in the Mighty Marvel bullpen.
And there was always an ad for X-ray glasses.
Absolutely. Yeah. There was a whole page of those kinds of ads.
I love those.
And, of course, my favorite ad of all time is the Black Dragon Fighting Club with Count Dante, and he will teach you the touch of death.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you know about Count Dante or not.
I do not.
So Count Dante was an actual dojo master in Chicago in the 1970s.
Is he the one who taught Bob Malone?
I don't know if he taught a guy named Bob Malone. Oh yes, but he taught Bob
Black
Malone.
Cobra too.
The Black Cobra. The Black Dragon taught the Black Cobra. That's what that was when they grabbed that guy's hair. That was the touch of death.
Okay.
He didn't break his neck. He just used a touch of death on him.
That's all it was.
It all comes back around.
Yeah, it does.
So there were dojo wars during that time period in the 70s where, different dojos would basically street fight each other, just like in a kung fu movie.
They're coming going.
Well, eventually what wound up happening to Count Dante is, he died in a dojo war, except it wasn't by kung fu. He got shot.
Did he get the touch of death?
He got the touch of death. All right,
he got the bullet of death.
It's called high-speed lead.
Yeah.
He and Monel have the same weakness, lead.
Oh, funny. Yep. You shoot Monel.
One of my favorite things is Martian Manhunter's weakness is fire. Somebody else goes, "Isn't everybody's weakness fire?"
His is a little bit different, but yeah, I don't know if you ever read those issues or not, where they explain that it's all psychological. He actually fire doesn't physically harm him, but those little blue bastards, the Owens. When they went to Mars, the Martian people were a chaotic race, and they actually altered them mentally to calm them, and then they became the green Martians. The white Martians still held on to that more aggressive aspect of their personality, but the green Martians were pacified. So John Jones' brother basically unleashed a psychic virus onto all the other Martians and basically wiped them all out except for him and John and the white Martians who, apparently either were immune or didn't communicate
he gave
with the
them
green
psychic
Martians.
Kool-Aid.
Gave him psychic Kool-Aid.
John's brother Jim Jones gave
Jim
the
Jones.
other Martians psychic Kool-Aid.
That's how it works.
So there was a couple of
There's a
Justice League.
70s reference.
No doubt. There were a couple of episodes of Justice League where Martian Manhunter became a character called Furnace the Burning. So he was made of fire because they were originally made of fire. They were a species that burned with fire.
Okay.
Yep.
Did his brother wear big sunglasses?
His brother? No, he had a bunch of face jewelry. That's all I do remember about that character. Yes, and I have seen Jim Jones giving his sermons. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've seen Jim Jones sermons?
Yes.
I've seen a documentary of Jim Jones, where he would give sermons.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Jonestown.
In typical cult leader fashion, he would contradict himself multiple times within his 3-hour speech. But the people who walked away from those speeches, they never saw the contradictions.
Nope.
Because that's what it means to be in a cult.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
and drinking Kool-Aid.
And yes, well, it wasn't even Kool-Aid either. It was like knockoff Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid got the bad rap on that
It's a
one.
Hawaiian Punch?
Yes, it was no. I know what Bob's talking about.
Of course, we named it.
It was Crystal
Gatorade.
What's it called?
I believe in Crystal Light because I believe in me.
They used to sell that stuff at my granddad's grocery store.
It was Lipton Instant Tea.
No, I don't know. They probably don't make it anymore. I know what you're talking about. It's the knockoff stuff. Anyway,
Flavor
it's third-party Kool-Aid.
Flavor Aid.
Flavor Aid. There we go.
Thank you, AI Overview. Yeah, but nobody knows what the hell Flavor Aid is. So Kool-Aid got saddled with drinking the Kool-Aid as a trope.
Well, it's like, what am I going to put on a cut? A Band-Aid.
Exactly.
Because
nobody's going to say I need
an adhesive bandage on
you
there.
Go hand me a tissue. You said hand me a Kleenex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While you're riding around your bulldozer.
Exactly.
In your jacuzzi.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's a hot tub, right? So, yep. Hey, very often first to market may not always be the best, but people remember it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's, out and down here you don't call sodas, you call them Cokes.
That's right.
Well, that's because that's what they're called.
Well, that and proximity of Atlanta, which I was the home of Coca-Cola, is it not?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the home.
I thought that's where it came from originally, Coca-Cola.
That's a myth.
The cocoa plant.
I'm sending. This is not new. What I got this week, but this is a new shelf that I put together. I guess it was probably last week, but
Atlanta, Georgia. It was by a guy named John Pemberton, a pharmacist in Atlanta, Georgia.
Is it John C. Emberton?
The first Coke was bottled in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Oh, well, there you go. But it was invented in Atlanta, Georgia. Jacob's Pharmacy. Price of 5 cents a glass. Pemberton's bookkeeper, Frank Robinson, suggested the name Coca-Cola and penned the famous flowing script logo.
Yeah, so if you ever go to Vicksburg,
where was Fanta invented?
There's a riverfront, little downtown Main Street kind of thing, and there's a Coca-Cola museum. They would beg to differ.
Nah.
I don't know who's right. I'm not picking a team. I'm just telling you, if you're ever there, and you happen to be close to where that you can't miss it, go in and ask them about it.
They'll
spend all day telling you about it. Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
Well, according to the Coca-Cola Company, it was Mr. John Pemberton.
What do they know?
You know what they know? corporate shills.
That's
Why?
Pepsi propaganda.
Pepsi propaganda.
The winner writes the history books. So
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
Although, you know, we have a very diverse culture here, so lots of people have their own versions of history.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, history is just our perspective on the past. It's not necessarily what happened because we weren't there. Nobody really recorded it. You were there.
Who wants
To
to
use your
live
omniscience.
forever?
Yeah. History, I have learned, or that's been my experience anyway. History is local because there could be a large history, obviously, but you zoom in on, you know, like maybe a town or maybe a county, and they're going to have a completely different story as to what happened
absolutely.
there than what was in their state or their region or their whatever.
Everybody's going to spin their own narrative, especially
Bob,
to make themselves out to be the protagonist of any story.
Bob, do you remember the gas lines in the bicentennial?
The gas lines during the bicentennial?
Well, in the 70s, the gas
Well, I
lines.
do remember that. Well, okay, so I do not directly remember gas lines because I grew
I
up in
remember
a
being
small,
in the gas lines
a small town. I don't remember there
sitting
ever
in the
being
car.
gas lines.
Do you remember the big
My dad used to go
celebration
to
of
the
the
Kerr
bicentennial year,
McGee.
though?
I don't ever remember us sitting in line to get gas.
I do. Do you remember how big it was, the big deal, the year
Oh
of the
yeah, the
bicentennial?
OPEC embargo. Yeah.
But I mean, do you remember the celebration for bicentennial?
I remember it being a thing like on TV.
Yeah, I mean the quarters and everything else.
Yeah. Sure, the bicentennial quarter it had
Do you
the
remember?
had the drummer on the
Yeah.
on the.
Do you remember when the Susan B. Anthony dollar was released?
Susan B. Anthony dollar? I want to say came out what
In the late 70s, I think, or maybe early 80s.
No, it came out in the 80s, like the mid 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was also the Sacagawea, which came out, I want to say, in the 1990s.
Oh, I forgot about Sacagawea.
Yeah. My father-in-law had a butt ton of those things because he used them for toll roads in Houston.
I remember the Carter versus, I remember Carter being elected for president.
So I do remember Jimmy Carter because
I remember him running.
That campaign was in 76?
76, yeah. Same year as bicentennial.
Yep, in 76. And I mean, I remember him being president. I don't remember Ford, and I don't remember Nixon. But obviously, I mean, remember everybody after Carter too, because I was 10 when the 1980 election occurred. And Reagan was elected.
Yeah. The only thing I really remember about Jimmy Carter was Billy Bear, and his daughter was named Amy.
Well, I do remember people talking about Amy and Billy Beer. I mean, I know quite a bit about President Carter. I know he was a nuclear physicist.
I know stuff about him, but it's stuff I remember from
a kid. From a kid. Yeah, because those are the things the media talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nat. But that being said, I went to high school with a guy whose grandfather was met by Jimmy Carter when he was campaigning, came to his farm, and they have like in their house a plaque with a photo of him and President Carter. There was a motorcade that came through, like, small little town of Justin, Texas, on the way out there to his farm.
Did he give him a peanut?
He had written a letter to Carter. No, I don't know if he gave him a peanut, but he had written a letter to Carter, and that letter was in that, part of that presentation that they had in their home. But
he said return to sender?
No. President Carter came and visited him because he wrote him a letter about the plight of farmers.
My grandfather used to write the president a lot of letters.
Yeah,
the only person who came to visit him was the FBI and the Secret Service visited him a lot. He was an alcoholic, and that was his thing. When he got drunk, he would call the White House or send them a letter. Yeah, my mother said they got visited a lot when she was a kid.
Interesting. So my grandfather used to, because he wasn't highly literate. My dad's father, So he would ask my mother to write letters for him to his congressman. And my dad's advice to her was to write it on toilet paper because all they're going to do is wipe their ass with it when they get it.
True.
So what you're trying to say is not much has changed.
Not much has changed. I mean, you know, if I was to write Ted Cruz or John Cornyn, what are they going to do? I mean, they got, you know.
Hey, look, guys, Bob said.
This guy named Bob said such and such. Y'all better toe the line.
They go, well, he doesn't care for Bucky, so screw him.
Yeah, well,
he doesn't.
That's how we determine our citizenship here in Texas now. Which Bucky's ain't been around that long. Jiminy Christmas. I don't know how it became.
I was gonna say, how long has Bucky's been around?
Not long enough.
A decade.
Okay, and where was it? The first location?
Somewhere here in Texas. I don't know. They
I know that.
Up.
I mean,
it's right in
Texas is a big place.
Man, they just started showing up. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Japanese company. Let's see what it says here. Buc-ee's. American chain, country stores, gas station, electric vehicle chargers owned by Arch Beaver Alpine III, headquartered in Lake Jackson, a city south of Houston. Founded in '82 in Clute, next to Lake Jackson, began expansion at first travel center in Luling, south of Austin, in 2003. So it's been going
so basically
20
Houston.
years. Do what?
So basically Houston.
Yeah, that's where it started. Yeah, thereabouts.
More or less.
Our joke is that Bucky sounds like he's from Boston.
Yeah, Bucky's from Boston.
He's like, welcome to Texas.
Funny.
Your brisket's on the board.
You know, I had their brisket sandwich. I was not impressed.
I don't care for that. I love their cinnamon rolls and their banana cream pie. Or cream pie.
I like the brisket sandwich. It's just it costs too much.
Well, what doesn't cost too much these days, Grandpa?
Well, that's very true. That's very true.
But their
bathrooms, I tell you, boys,
their bathrooms are top of the line, though.
My day brisket sandwich would cost you 50 cents.
So the bathroom's the kind where you actually have, like, you know, privacy. You don't see other people's feet. Yeah, they started doing that in a lot of places. Yep, there's like I said, I stop at a Shell station that's down the road from the Buc-ee's.
That poor man's Bucky?
The poor man's Buc-ee's. You got it. Poor man's Buc-ee's. And they got the same sort of bathroom set up there, too. Like, theirs were under renovation partially when I was in there. I seriously just missed the Buc-ee's. And as far as I know, Buc-ee's doesn't sell Shell gas, so I can't use my Shell gas card.
Well, if I was going to pick one for gas for my car, I would pick Shell gas over a Buc-ee's gas. I don't know where Buc-ee's gets their gas from, so.
OPEC.
Yeah, I'm going to say they get it from Arabs.
They get it from Arabs?
Actually, the largest gas producer and exporter in the world is a good old USA, boy.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Daggum right, son.
Oil and natural gas. We got oil. We got gas.
When you say oil, you mean Earl, right?
Earl. That's true.
Yeah. We're full of gas.
We call it. We also got some wind. A lot of wind out there, especially in Austin. They got a lot of wind in Austin. Let me tell you.
And rabbits.
A bunch of hot air wind.
A lot of hot air.
Much of that gassy wind that comes out your backside.
Well, that's methane. You can capture that. You get two uses out of that one. Now that's highly environmental.
It's true.
You either wants to blow the turbine and then you light it on the way out.
Yeah, you do. That's the fun kind.
And we got lots of sunshine here too. Got lots of sunshine. I got some solar panels on top of my house. They belong to Elon Musk. Yep.
They belong to Elon Musk.
They do belong to him. He
what if he comes back to try to get them?
Well,
if he belongs to him.
I mean, if he wants them, he can come get them, I suppose. That was the deal at the time. Solar City was a company run by one of his cousins, and they were capturing the tax incentive. That's how they were making their real money. So they were basically giving them away. You just put them on top of your house, and whatever it puts on the grid that's in excess of what you consume from other sources, you get a credit. Guess what I've never gotten?
Credit.
Never never.
No,
never credit.
it's never gonna. It's
Well,
never
that's
gonna.
like there's the meme
ever.
going around. All these LED light bulbs and all this stuff that's supposed to save us on our electricity bill. Has anybody's bill gone down?
Lord,
No.
Nope.
No.
no.
Well,
No,
that's
no.
not where the most of your electricity goes, though. It's going to be your washer, dryer, and your air conditioner. That's
my
the,
air conditioner.
the air conditioner is the big mule right there. Especially here. I mean, we start running the air conditioner.
Yeah. April.
Maybe April.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's a heat pump, so it gets cold. We got 3 classic seasons in Texas: ice season, early summer, and hell season.
I was gonna say one of them's got to be hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you rent out Texas and you move to hell.
I've never experienced a hotter summer than the few years that I lived there. That was ridiculous.
Oh, the Dallas-Fort Worth area?
Oh my
I imagine it
gosh.
would get pretty warm in
Yes.
Alabama too.
Well, it does, but it'll hit 100, but it's not.
It's humid too.
It's going to actual triple digits. You might get what, Sean? Maybe you can total up a week, maybe.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah, we get about a
That-
month. That's called August.
I was gonna say you at least total up a month minimum.
Yep.
Either that or it's cooled off in Texas a little bit.
No, it hasn't.
25 years ago.
I remember as a kid, sometimes my grandparents, they lived out in the country, and they typically didn't run the air, and the air that they did run was one of those old swamp coolers with the water that came down through the looked kind of like straw.
Mhm.
And then you got a squirrel cage fan in there, but they would only run that thing maybe once, like 1 month out of the year, and that was usually in August when it would get up over 110 sometimes.
Oh yeah. Because I know I experienced 112, 115.
It's good for you, builds character.
Builds character. The summer of 2000 was ridiculous.
And that's how we in Texas make sure that foreigners stay out of this state.
Yeah.
Go back to Alabama where you came
Go
from.
back to yeah. Oh man, I remember at night it was still in the 90s, in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I can't.
That's
When I was
nuts.
younger, my mother did not like running the air.
We didn't run the air conditioner when I was a kid.
I couldn't sleep during the summer because I'd just be roasting all night long.
Sean likes it like a meat locker.
Yeah, our house is 65 when I go to bed.
You keep it 65?
When I go to bed.
Oh, at bed. Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
75 when I'm gone. I kick it down to 70 when I get home. I kick it down to 65 when I go to bed.
That doesn't sound unreasonable. I usually keep it about 76 during the day, and then we turn it down to about 73 or 2 when we first go to bed, and then before we go to sleep, I'll turn it down to about 71.
Dang, it's too hot.
And I run the fan, too.
It's just too
If
hot.
I don't run the fan, I get hot. Plus, over the summer, as the cats have gotten older and less rambunctious, we let them sleep with us now. And a cat's normal body temperature is about 102 degrees.
Golly.
Good grief.
I'd have to kick it down to 60 in the house for that. Copper loves the air conditioning.
What dog doesn't?
Oh, he sprawls. When we go down to roost, he
Every
lays in
living
front of the air
thing likes
conditioner.
air conditioning.
Do what, Sean?
When we go to Roost's house, he just lays in front of the air conditioner and lets it blow on him.
Funny.
Yeah.
Does he have
loves AC.
jowls? Do they flap?
He does have jowls, but they don't flap. It's not that strong blowing.
When you drive down the road in your pickup, does he stick his head out the window?
I don't let him because I'm afraid he's going to break out my window.
Oh, yeah. You don't put him in the bed?
No.
Let him run around in circles?
Lord, no.
My
Lord, no.
My grandfather always let his dogs run, go back into the bed of the truck.
He also let you too, I bet.
Oh, when I was a kid, yep. Absolutely. So my dad had, in the bed of his pickup, on both sides, there were rails that he had made that mounted into I don't know what you call those holes that are on the side of the pickup
Holes.
bed.
Holes.
Yeah. So anyway, they mounted in there, and then when we were little kids, he'd tell us to put our arms underneath that bar to lock ourselves in place when we sit on the wheel well back there, just in case you got in an accident, you don't get thrown from the bed of the truck.
Yeah.
Now,
that makes
you
sense.
know, your arms might still be in the bed of the truck, but the rest of you might not. But yep, of course, when I was a kid too, my mom, she'd make us sit on the floorboard of the car in case you get in a wreck.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
All
how
that
they
was
handle
very
things
normal.
back then.
Yeah,
Do what now?
That's very normal. I said
Yep.
all of that was very normal and widespread.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Exactly how it was handled here as well.
There were no baby car seats or anything like that.
Nope.
Yeah, if you survive the, you know, if you survive the 70s, then yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember I was playing Little League Baseball, and I mean, this would have been early mid 80s. And we would, you know, our parents would drop us off at whatever practice field it was, and we would all hop in the back of coach's truck and he'd take us to the batting cage, or where I don't know how many times we did that. I mean, there'd be like 12 kids in the back of his pickup truck going to some other location.
He holler at you, "Don't be screwing around back here."
Yeah, sit down flat on your butt.
Yeah.
I can't have you falling out on the way to the game.
Yeah.
We need all the men on the field. One of you falls out, we ain't gonna be able to play today. You're gonna ruin it for everybody.
And Bob's not gonna know this reference, but we'll be going down the belt line, you know, with 12 kids in the back of a pickup truck. That's bad. That's bad. Now that would be bad.
That's
back
dead
then, that
through
was
town.
like, do what?
That's just dead through the center of town.
It is. But it wasn't a big deal. Nobody thought anything about it. Nobody wore a seatbelt. Of course, that also was not a good idea.
Nope.
But still, nobody did it. We sat in the floorboard, like Bob said.
Wear your seatbelts, kids.
Huh?
That's our disclaimer. Wear
Yeah,
your
see,
seatbelts, kids.
Hey,
When I was a kid, my
the
mom had a Volkswagen Bug, and I used to climb up in the back window.
I was about to say the very thing.
Funny.
That back window.
And then we had a Datsun B210, and I was asleep in the back seat, and we got rear-ended, and I went flying and hit the back of the front seats, and then hit the floorboard bump, you know, the center mound. And next morning I woke up like I couldn't straighten my neck out. I had to go to the chiropractor.
Jeez. How old were you?
30. I was probably in the first or second grade. So, you know, whatever age you are there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12.
6 or 7. Depends on the person.
Yeah.
Well,
never wore
boys,
seatbelts.
I'm gonna sign off.
We're not boys, we're men.
That's right.
Well,
No, we're man children.
Fellers.
Another
about
exciting
fellers?
podcast from Grumpy Old Men who may or may not have sound in this week's episode.
Oh, I assure you there's sound this time. I'm going to... we tested it. We made sure.
Yes,
All
I know.
right.
I listened. But...
Well, I'm grumpy and I'm old and I need to get ready for my beddy bed time.
That's true. Got to go to work tomorrow.
Gotta go to work tomorrow.
These podcasts don't pay for themselves, you know.
I gotta go to the mines again, and you know.
Thank you guys for coming on, and thank you for watching that fabulous movie with me.
That was awesome.
Oh yes, it was awesome.
And who hosts next?
Joey.
Me.
Joey's turn next time.
Have you decided?